Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Jackie Loggins from Life According to Jackie, which is my YouTube channel. And today I have with me Anthony Carter from the Afro Think Tank YouTube channel. And we have an interesting show for you all today. First, hold on one second.
It's all right.
Okay. So today we want to talk about repatriation. So I titled this video Repat on Track because a lot of us are off track when it comes to our
Yes,
repatriation,
yes.
and we are trusting people and, businesses and such that, we should be more careful about, because a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in wanting to reconnect and go back to the motherland, and we get so excited that we get to be easily manipulated and taken advantage of. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Anthony, and tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay, my name is Anthony Carter. I started a YouTube page called Afro Think Tank because I believe that as Africans who live in America and Africans who live all around the diaspora, including the continental Africans, we need to start thinking more, thinking deeper.
Right.
Okay, we have to stop fantasizing our African dreams, start fantasizing ourselves and live in actual reality, and we need to move in reality. So I created Afro Think Tank so that people like myself and people like you and other people who are looking for real information, because some years ago when I had the feeling that I wanted to go to Africa, I wanted to visit, I would go on YouTube and I couldn't find anybody that looked like me that was over there doing anything.
Okay.
Right. So because of that, I felt like, well, let me be part of the solution. Let me go over and do it. And I'll make a page where people can see what I'm doing. So maybe they can get inspired, or maybe they say, oh, I want to do that too. And that's
Right.
what they do. Also have a, because I'm a history buff. I love
Okay.
history. I love African history. I love world history. I have a Facebook group called Real African History and Perspective, where me and other people who have knowledge, we pool our information together about our history so we
Hmm.
can learn who we are and what we're about, and we talk about different perspectives in the African diaspora, because there are more than just there's more what do you call, there are more perspectives, there's more genres of what it is to be black, what it is to be African American, what it is to be African. There's various different types, and I think that that should be explored.
Okay. And once all this is done, I'll plug in the link to your Facebook group so people can join, and also to your YouTube page so they can subscribe to your page as well.
Okay.
Because when I first so actually it was a Nigerian that told me about your YouTube page.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like, it's this guy, he's from America and he's in Nigeria. He built a house and he has a business. And I said, let me go check this out. And I said, okay, you got a house, you built a house, you have a store, and now you just completed construction on a bar and everything.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's impressive, because a lot of times on YouTube, we follow people who are, supposedly gurus or whatever, and they talk
Yeah.
the talk, but what we have to research is, are they walking the walk as well? You
Correct,
know.
correct. And I also ran into and I follow the same people. And what I noticed, and a small thing about me is I used to be also in sales, so I understand the psychology of sales. And when when you're learning about sales, they target people, per their personality type, right? And there's a whole breakdown. So you got some people who are really good at selling, and they can sell anything, right? So I noticed I started seeing a lot of so-called repatriates or Pan-Africanists or whatnot, and all they really do, they don't really show you anything. They just make you feel good, but they're not showing, you're not giving you anything tangible you can use to go make a move on your own. All they're doing is
Right.
pumping their own products. Now I'm all for supporting black businesses, support all black businesses, but all black businesses are not good, and we have to take that in consideration as well. Is a certain way you need to go about doing things. And me myself, I hate being taken advantage of. Okay, I
Yeah, I
refuse to
think we
be
all
in
do.
any way of life. I hate to be taken advantage of. So what I did was, I'm from Washington D.C. and there's a lot of Nigerians here. I grew up with Nigerians. I know Nigerians. They're my brothers, right? So all I simply did was ask them questions. Hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do this? And they would tell me how to do it. And they would also offer me, hey, my family would take care of you. Come over here, you know, just let me know when you want to go, because they're very eager for us to come over there, because the narrative on the media has always been, don't go to Africa, it's dangerous. Oh, you black folks, don't go there, don't do that. But when you get to the airport, you see nothing but them over there going to the same places they
Right.
tell us not to go to, right?
Right.
So now I have a military background. I was in the United States Marine Corps, so I've been all over the world. So I don't have a problem going to a place that I've never been before. So that is an advantage that I have over other people who don't travel, right? So I want to take that and use that to help people who are scared to pull the trigger on buying a plane ticket to go to Africa and give it a try. The first thing you need to
Yeah.
do is visit. Black folks in America and black folks in the Caribbean, what they don't really understand is they live about 100 miles from their former slave master's
Right.
plantation. They don't
Less than that
understand it.
most of the time.
Yes, and when you travel to the Caribbean, most black folks, what do? They get on a cruise, they go down to the
Mhm.
Caribbean, hit about 7, 8 countries. All you're doing is traveling from former plantation spot to former plantation spot to former plantation spot. Even the
Mhm.
Caribbeans, they're coming over here. You're going to the other plantation spot. The Caribbeans got off on stop one, we got off on stop two. We're the same group of
Right.
people from the same area. So what I did, the first thing I did was I tried my genealogy. I did my DNA test because that will tell me where I'm from.
Mhm.
The myth is that, oh, we don't know where we're from. We can never find out anything. Listen, nobody in America for the most part really knows where they're from. Even Europeans, they don't know where they're from. They know they're
Right.
vaguely from Europe. They have to do their DNA test too. We can
Mhm.
find out where we're from, and then just find out about that area. And if you want to go there, you should visit. Buy a plane ticket.
Right.
The
I
ticket to
was
go to
shaking in my boots last year when
yeah.
because I did a DNA test and I found
Mhm,
out I was 48% Nigerian.
mhm.
Whether it's Yoruba or Igbo, I have no idea. But I
Right,
took a trip to Oshobo and I was shaking in my boots because people were telling me stuff like, "Oh, you're gonna get robbed," and they could stop you on the road with machine guns and all
right,
kind
right.
of horror
I
stories.
was
And I'm like,
I
"What?"
was I was getting the same thing, and this is the thing. I've
Yeah.
been I've been to places where people were holding machine guns casually on the street, so I understand that's a true case. But the problem is, if you turn it around, look at America. America, all they do is talk about Baltimore and Chicago. If you base America off Baltimore and Chicago, no one would ever come here.
Right.
There's
You can
murders
get
in the
jacked right
street.
here in the States.
Right here in the States. I live in Washington D.C. I can walk outside right now and get shot. It's dangerous here too. It's danger everywhere. It's just the way they paint the danger, right? And you have to know where not to go, where to go, and what you can do, what your limitations are. It's just that they make it seem like Africa is this this place where you got savages running around. This is just their MO. This is what they've been doing. It's a big trick. And the only way to release yourself from that mindset is to find the courage to get on a plane and fly. The first day, as soon as you land in Nigeria, I knew. I was like, oh, they lied to us. I was saying it all day. I was
Right.
like, oh, they lied to me. You see, there's places in Nigeria that look just like New York, just like
Mhm.
DC, big giant beautiful buildings,
Right.
roads. There's roads in Nigeria that's better than roads in DC. The roads in DC are horrible.
Exactly. I
Okay,
was
so
overstimulated. When I got off the airplane,
uh,
I was riding in the car and I could not stop looking out of the window. I could not stop just looking at things around me, you know. I was like, "Oh my God." And I felt like my ancestors and, something in me was using my eyes to see as well. Like, people who were taken away so long ago, they were able to I was able to take them back to see,
right,
you
right, and
know.
that's exactly how we felt. Exactly the same way. I felt like the ancestors that didn't get the choice to immigrate over here, the ones that were forced over here, they had to fight and suffer. They had to fight, suffer, survive, and go through a lot of stuff just so we can be alive to make that trip back. So I also felt like I was bringing my ancestors back. My point was, as is in our ancestors are in our DNA. We are our ancestors. So my goal was to go back home to where my ancestors from, purchase land, build a house, to bring them back so they can rest in peace fully, bring it full circle. And that's what I've been able to accomplish.
And there's
And
so many of us that want to do that, but
yes.
here's the danger and all that, from what I've witnessed. Like I said, there's so many of us who want to reconnect back to the motherland. We want to reconnect back to our roots, back to our
Mhm.
heritage. And you have people who want to exploit that. And, a lot of those people, they get to the motherland before everyone else. So they find a way to exploit everyone else's desires. It's like, okay, well, I'm here, but you got to get here. So invest in my, company or my business or my plan, and it got to the point where I joined a group, and I'm not going to say this group, but it was like, okay, well, if you want to be a part of this repatriation group, you have to buy my tutorial, or you have to buy this book, or you have to answer this question that don't have nothing related to repatriation. You have to answer it exactly the way I want you to answer it. And it became kind of like a grooming process, where you're grooming people to follow you. You're grooming people to have a certain mindset that serves you. And that's why I get so sick of hearing all this on code bullshit, because it's like, okay, it's cool to be on code, but whose code are you on? That's
Correct.
something you
Correct.
need to ask yourself. Whose code are you on? Are
Right.
you on your own code? Are you on some type of official code to bring everybody, to really bring everybody together? Or are you on, or are you following somebody who wants you on their code?
Right.
And
Right.
to me, it kind of felt like a cult almost. Like these people were building a cult of followers, where we're going to get together, we're going to make our own community, and and it doesn't include the people who are already there, the continental Africans. And I don't give a damn how dumb you think they are, or how slow
Mm.
you think they are, or how brainwashed you think they are. If you want to survive in the motherland, on the motherland, you have to make a connection with the people who are already there, because you don't know the lay of the land. You don't know where to go, where not to go. Honestly, you don't know shit.
Right.
So
Exactly.
when you
Yeah.
get over there, the main thing you need to be trying to do is learn about where you are and how to navigate within that environment, you
Right.
know. And
Exactly.
and it's like, a lot of people, they think, when they invest in this stuff, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to invest in this thing, and when I step out the plane, I'm going to have a nice big 4-bedroom 2,500 square foot house to stay in. It's going to be $200 a month, and I'm going to already be set up in this business where I'm going to have this coming in, and I'm going to be
Mm.
able to do this and do that and have a house on the beach and all that bullshit. And I'm like,
Right.
it don't exactly work out like that, because
Right.
at the end of the day, when you're buying in somebody else's plan, at the end of the day, it's their plan, it's their
Right.
system. And you're gonna have to, whether you put your money in or not, you're gonna have to play by their rules,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Right. And
But
I know. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, on that, far as that on code, right? Like I understand a code, but we have to create a new code because that old code clearly is not working. Okay, and my vision, the place I picked in Nigeria, Kitty. Once I figured out that's where my ancestors was from, I made it a goal that everything I do with the people in the village in mind. It's not all about me, and I'm not there to make money for just myself. I'm there to make money. I do want to make money, but I'm also there to help people around there make money. So when they see me, they know that guy, he's coming here with the right attitude, because the African continent, along with Africans, we've been exploited too much. We've been exploited by everybody else. We don't need us to go over there and exploit us again. They don't have time for that. Okay, so and you don't need and we don't need other Americans, like you said, going over there first because they got a little bit of money or they ran into something and now they're exploiting us in our hopes and dreams and taking advantage of us. That's why I encourage you should never ever 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 send money to a place before you actually go there or know anything about it. Never
Exactly. If
send
you
money.
can't
Yeah,
reach out and shake
right,
their hand,
right.
if you can't
Reach
reach
out.
out physically and shake their hand,
Then
you don't need to be giving it. I don't care where
exactly.
they're from.
Like if I wanted to buy a house in the Gambia, I will pay $600, $700, get on a plane, fly there, go check out their places, and then I will purchase it myself. I'll do it myself. I don't need a group to do that for me. They have professional businesses in this country that do that. You got the internet. The internet will show you how to do everything you need to know. And that's what I did. So what I did was the first thing you have to do, and like you say, you have to make a connection in Africa. You're not going to go to any African country and do anything in anybody's village without knowing at least one or two families in that village that can help
Right,
you facilitate everything you do. Period. You're not
right,
skipping go and collecting that $200. Make a
right.
friend. Just like when people date, you meet new people, right? You get on the line, you meet somebody, you vet them, see if they're trustworthy, and y'all have a vibe, you find a vibe, and you take the leap, take the jump, you're gonna meet them and see if it works out. Sometimes
Mhm.
it do, sometimes it don't. It's the same thing with Africa. Nigeria, this is exactly what I did. I have Nigerian friends here. I didn't use any of their hookups. I
Mhm.
literally went on Facebook and started talking to random people in Nigeria in the area I wanted to go to, and
Mhm.
I vetted them. Yeah, there was a whole lot that tried to scam me with, there's a lot of Ife scams, there's a lot of priest scams. Hey, give me
Right.
money, give me. Once I hear that, I'm like, okay. I don't say anything disrespectful. I just kind of, fade off
No,
into the
thank
night.
you.
Right? No
Yeah.
thanks. But then you find there's a lot of people that have a lot of resources and a lot of intelligence, smarts. They just need the financial backing to do it. Right? And one thing I found in Nigeria is that because of the lack of opportunity and lack of lending, because everything is like you either got it or you don't, right? So their $10,000 is like $100,000 to us. So like in America, if you ain't got $100,000, you ain't starting nothing really. I mean, you need at least that. Over there, you need like $10,000. So what happens is, even if a person over there starts a business, they can't scale up because they have to sell their product or services just to maintain their business. So they never have an opportunity to scale up. But if you're an
Mhm.
American and you happen to be making enough money where you can take the financial upfront or upfront hit so that give them the ability to scale up, you can really thrive in Africa because we're the
Right.
missing piece. We can
Mhm.
finance, they can make the moves, and we can work together if both parties are doing things responsibly, and if both parties are trustworthy. So that's
Right.
what I did. I got lucky. I found somebody, my business
Mhm.
partner, and I pulled that person out of their situation.
Yeah. Walk us
In
through that process.
okay,
Walk
okay,
us through
so
that.
okay, so first what I did is I made friends. Right, that's the first thing I did.
Right.
No, now everybody thought I was crazy. They just knew that the person was a scammer or whatever.
Mhm.
And I say friends because I like to keep them private because not everybody wants to be on the internet or out loud, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I make a business partner. Then I bought a ticket. First I survey, say this is what we want to do. We brainstorm, had a chicken farm, pig farm. Let's do this. We just think about what can we both do together, right?
Mhm.
What are they good at? What is the what's the supply and demand in that particular area? And let's find out if we can make a solution for that, or we can get involved in that,
Right.
right? So once we picked several, business ideas, and we scrambled it, we made a plan together. Then the second thing was buy a plane ticket and go meet my
Mhm.
business partner, right? At this point is where everybody's scared because like, oh, I'm gonna fly 6,500 miles to go meet somebody.
Yeah.
Well, people do it all the time. You
Right.
you you do it here. It's just a longer distance. It's just a longer flight, but it's the same process. So I
Mhm.
met the person. We went out, had a good time, met the family, went out and showed me everything. Right? I
Mhm.
kept my money tight to myself before one until I verified everything. Once I was there on land, once I was there on site, then I went and I purchased land through because everybody you meet gonna know somebody that's selling land. There's
Exactly.
so much land there, and the best way to purchase land is through people who want to sell their land.
Mhm.
Right? The average price of land in Akiti, kind of the area is in the countryside. About $1,000 will get you about a plot,
Mhm.
right? And that's in the countryside on the rural side. If you try to do anything in the cities, you better have some real money, like if you're in America, because things
Right.
are not cheap in Lagos and
Oh
Abuja. Period.
no. Oh
All right,
no.
you got it your mind if you think you're going to Lagos
Yeah.
and you're going to get anything cheap. All right,
I
just get
would
that out your head.
suggest a repat to start their process in Lagos, a big city like that. Unless you,
Yeah,
like you said, unless you have the money and you
right,
set up. But
right.
if you restart and you kind of on the low end of the spectrum, you might want to go to a more rural area.
Rural
Like
area, right?
I have a place in Osun State,
Okay,
and it was pretty reasonable. And or if it wasn't there, I was gonna do like Ibadan or something like that.
okay, yeah,
But yeah, I would suggest starting somewhere like that because the small cities are cool too,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
populated and you can still do pretty good business there.
Exactly. And the way I see it is, if we regular folks who are not rich, we don't got hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and we send it. If
Mhm.
you want to do something, go to a place where your money can go the furthest, which is the
Mhm.
countryside, right? So I went there, and the first thing when I built my house, all right, it's a double house. I built it this way, so it's really two houses
Okay.
under a
Like a
compound.
duplex.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
knew that I wasn't going to be able to live there 24/7. I needed to have somebody in there, right? So my
Mhm.
business partner lives in that one side, and the other side is mine.
Mm-hmm.
right? So that way my house is always being watched. So there's my security. If there's a family there, I don't have to worry about anything, and I can get things done there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we started the building process, there was a, just like you do here, there was a blueprint. So I picked the blueprint of the house I wanted, right? I signed all the documentation, and I also made copies, so I can have my own records. And
Mm-hmm.
then every step of the building process, I made sure that my business partner gave me live. I was watching it being done live, and I had video recording with timestamps that it was getting done. Because
Yeah.
what you don't want to do is just take your business partner's word for it that things are getting done. No, I need verification every day. It was almost like if I was there. I use the app Marco Polo a lot because it's good because you can pretty much stream as much as you want and it doesn't save data on your phone. And it
Mm-hmm.
works in Nigeria as well. So I use Marco Polo. Like
Marco
when I knew,
Polo.
yeah, Marco Polo is that app is great because they can download it over there. We can use it over here, and it's unlimited streaming back and forth. You don't. It's not going to save any data, so it's not going to take from their data plan. It's not going to take from your data plan. It'll take streaming, but it won't take up your memory. And I just watched it. I saw the dirt, the foundation being broken up. I watched it every single day. Every
Mm-hmm.
time something was purchased, I received a receipt. I wanted to see it, and I was taken to me, Mark. I'll use WhatsApp, take a picture of it, send it to me because WhatsApp videos and pictures downloads to your phone,
Right.
and I'd
Right.
save it in a file. So I had all my receipts. I saw the construction of it, of the house every time it was built from every level, and I also made sure. Here's another thing: the reason why it's so cheap to build a house over there is not because of the material, it's the labor. The
Oh.
material costs the same as here. I mean,
Oh wow.
material is material. Concrete, wood. I mean, it's all the same. And what I learned was we're just being overpriced by
Oh, and the
500% in
labor.
America. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. We're being overpriced in America. It's ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so the labor is cheap. But what I did was, yes, I wanted to take advantage of the cheap labor, but I didn't want to take advantage of the people
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I paid them more than the average person would get paid to do the job. I also made sure they fed, so they didn't have to use their money to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure I fed them because food is over there is cheap. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I can afford it. Let me make sure that my workers can eat while they're doing all this work, and let me make sure I pay them well, and then maybe make sure I pay them on time, and not pay them later because there is a over there there's a culture of doing things and paying later. They do have that, like, because they
Yeah.
don't. That's a communal thing. So you can buy something but don't have the money, but then you'll promise to give it to you later. I don't rock like that really, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how they rock. But I just made sure when I'm the one that's supposed to pay somebody, I show them that in my culture over here, I'm gonna pay up first, and they appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that. They love that. They're like,
And
wow, I
they'll
get
be
I get
willing
the
to
money now.
work with you again.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I secured like 40 workers. I swear I had like 40 workers, and I use the same workers every time. People will scramble because they know that me and my business partner, we pay on time. We're well known in the village now for paying
Mhm.
on time. So they
Ah,
built, yeah. So I built the house in 3 months, right? And what I didn't know is that over there people take about 5 years to build houses because they don't get loans. They just when they got the money, they just
ah,
and I never
okay.
understood that. I was just walking around. And I see all these houses that weren't finished. I didn't understand.
That's what they
So
told us in Jamaica. When I went to Jamaica, they did the
hmm
little tour and they was the driving tour, and
yeah,
they was like, they pay as they go. They don't have the whole loan mortgage system like we have. What they'll do, they'll build things they need. Like the first rooms that they'll finish would be like a bathroom, a kitchen, and a bedroom, so that they can live there while they're constructing the home.
right, right. And
Yeah,
and I was lost, and I didn't understand why people were so impressed about what I was
how
doing.
fast you
I was
live.
like, no, I'm just like so. And then I built, then I worked on building my pig farm,
Hmm.
which I've just finished building the wall for that. That's a bigger piece of land, so it cost me a little bit more money.
Yeah, elaborate more on your I want you to elaborate more on the process of getting your businesses started because I know
Okay.
you just said the pig farm. You
Yes.
also have a shop and then you have
Yes.
a bar that you
Right.
just constructed, you and your business partner. So kind of I want people to, because everybody want to know, oh, how do I do this? How do I go about do that? How do
Right.
I get started with that? So kind of walk everybody through how you started that process.
Okay. So the way you start a business in Nigeria as a foreigner, because if you want to know how can we start a business, is it ours? Do we
Mm-hmm.
own it? Like, how does it work? Yes, the way you start a business in Nigeria is you simply, they don't have a lot of red tape, and there's not, the
Okay.
tax system is not like America. So if you go over there, let's say you want to do agriculture, which I recommend
Mm-hmm.
agriculture. I highly recommend it. Agriculture. What you do is in the local paper, you can declare your name. You can just make up a name that you want your business to be, and you just declare it. This is almost the same as making a in America we call it a what is it?
Like an
Not a,
LLC
it's
or
like an
business.
L. It's like no, it's one less than an LLC. Is the P is a person to person. I forgot what you call it,
Mm-hmm.
but I made it
DBA or something like that.
yeah, it's like a just Clayton stating that you're starting a business, right?
So you have to put it in a newspaper.
Yeah, it's like a newspaper that you put it in. You just declare the name, and this is like a watermark, almost like okay, I'm declaring this is my name, this is my business, and you can just
Mm-hmm.
start doing your business just outright.
Oh.
Now, I wanted to go a little further, and I made an LLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to make an LLC, there are corporations that will just process your LLC, but the banks normally do that. So you can go in the bank and you can get your LLC in the bank. So you come up with
Mm-hmm.
your name, and then they run that name almost like when you go to the patent trade office, but the bank does it. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
run the name and they'll see if it's available for agriculture. You'll fill out a form asking you what all does your business entail, just like you would do here. So agriculture, I'm going to be growing this. I'm going to be doing this. This is kind of my location, and they just process the paperwork, and it's really that simple. There's
Is it
no tax.
expensive? Like, is
No,
it?
it cost me about $100
Oh,
to start the
wow.
business. It cost
Yeah.
me about $100. Now that's if you want the LLC. If you want to just put your name in the paper, it may cost you like less than $100. It'll be really cheap. It's just
Oh, wow.
nothing. Right.
Okay.
Now, so once I did that, there's all sorts of programs that the government, 'cause the government of Nigeria really encourages agriculture. So if you get into agriculture, there are all sorts of incentives to get involved with that because it's something the country needs. So they're encouraging it,
What
right?
type of, did they give you any examples of the
Yeah.
incentives?
The incentive, they have classes. Now I myself have not taken advantage of any of these yet, which
Mm-hmm.
I will eventually, but I'm kind of like doing everything just straight up by myself. But they
Yeah.
have classes where they'll teach you how to literally teach you how to grow certain crops. They also have funding. I don't know how to get to that funding, but there's also funding for crops. There's also funding for cheaper land to get
Oh.
crops. So they have all sorts of programs that are really just being rolled out
And it's
because
available to foreigners
it's a
as well.
yes, foreigners. They really encourage us to come over there and do that. That's what they want. Grow
Okay.
food because people need to eat. Nigeria has a protein problem. The problem in
Oh.
Nigeria is they're
Like
protein
a
deficient.
protein deficit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
protein deficit because they just don't. They have everything, but what they don't have is they don't have processing and manufacturing. That is the biggest problem in Nigeria. They
Mm-hmm.
have all the raw material, but since the economy is built off export and import, which all it
That's
does
what I
is
was gonna
it
say.
it takes all of our money, it takes all of our resources and sends it to Europe, and they process it, or they send
And
it to
send it
India,
back and
and they
charge higher
process it.
prices.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then they repackage it and send it back. So it blew my mind when I would walk into a store in a country that is number one with producing the yams,
Mm-hmm.
and I see yam chips that's made in India. I'm like, why are they not making yams here? Why are they not packaging it here? But it was set up that way to take our resources. That's the trick bag. So
So
get
if you was to go over there and set up like a processing plant,
oh
like, hey,
listen,
you
millions
gotta
of
get
dollars. When
right.
Akon said what he said, he meant it. Anything you want to do in America, go over to Nigeria and do it. Go to any country in Africa and do it. You could become, if you can know how to process anything, if you know how to take anything from a raw material to a shelf made product,
Mm-hmm.
millionaire. How much money do you want to make? How much
Right.
money you want to make? That's the
Now,
question.
I was thinking about doing a chicken house because I'm from Mississippi and
Okay.
the town I grew up, it was the chicken industry. Like my father worked at an egg hatchery and we
Mm-hmm.
had a chicken plant in town that, processed the chickens and processed eggs and stuff. And what my father used to do in the summertime, my mom was a school teacher, so she didn't work. So the money was always lower. So
Okay.
he would bring chickens and we would raise the chickens ourselves. Like he would bring them home from work. We would
Uh-huh.
raise them, and then
Yep.
once they got to be full adults, we had to catch them and kill them and clean them, and
Yeah.
we would take them out to the country where people. It was a lot of people in the rural area where I live who, didn't have a car to drive to the grocery store or who couldn't afford to come to the store as often. So we would
Mm.
freeze the chicken and eggs, and we would take them out there and we'd sell from house to house.
Oh my
So
God. If you
yeah.
listen, chicken farm. I tried to do the chicken thing over there the first time. I wasn't very successful. I have chickens, but I
Mhm.
wasn't successful at the beginning. So I said I got a more robust. I picked a more robust species, which is the pig, and I got goats. But if you know how to do chickens, you go over there, millions of dollars, U.S. dollars,
I heard
billions of
turkeys are
dollars.
valuable too.
Yes, any type of bird meat. I got actually I have turkeys too. I have turkeys too. So if you're country, let me tell you, if you're from the south and you know about farm, you need to get on the plane, go over there and do it over there. Oh my God! Like
Well, in my apartment, I have the compound to myself. So
okay,
the guy who I'm renting from, he told me, well, if you want to, put a little chicken coop, that's fine. I'll let you do. He said he would allow me to put a chicken coop. So I was thinking about starting small, like start with the chicken
uh,
coop and maybe
yeah,
have one big enough where I have chickens on one side and turkeys on the other side. And then once that particular business model grow,
uh,
then I can graduate to doing an actual chicken house,
right.
because I
That'll
thought
work.
about a chicken house,
Hmm.
and then I always wanted a catfish pond.
Oh, I'm going. I'm getting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of my next moves. Catfish farm. I was
Oh my
debating
god.
it. I was debating my newest plot of land I purchased. I'm debating when I'm going to do it because it's going to cost a little bit of money to dig
Mm-hmm.
the artificial pond and all that stuff. But listen. Oh my God. Any type of food. If you can raise fish, chickens, pigs. I don't care what they say. Pigs is a they eat pig over there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Everybody, okay, it's the number one. It's the number one a protein source in I think it's the number one protein source in Nigeria and Africa. Pigs is very popular. But
Really?
yes, people, despite what people say, pigs is very popular. I right now, as soon as people found out I was growing pigs, people was knocking on my compound trying to sell it. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
buy it. Like everybody wants to buy my. There is no shortage of demand. Anything you have, you could just sell it immediately that same day. I can
So
sell all my
pigs go
pigs.
for a good price there.
Yes, yes. Like you can buy baby pigs. You can buy a baby pig for about probably like 30 some odd dollars. You can
Really?
buy like mid range pigs for like $60. I bought my bull pig, my breeder pig. I bought him for like a full grown bull pig for about how much that pig? A little less than $200,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I find that I buy them young, and I just because I can afford to feed them. That's the thing. I can afford to feed
Mm-hmm.
as many pigs as I want. So I haven't sold any pigs because I want to bring my stock up. So I'm just letting them give birth. I'm waiting for
Okay.
one of my pigs to give birth right now.
Okay.
So yeah, pigs are cheap. So you can rack up on pigs. If you come over here, you buy land for $1,000. You build a wall, build a 5 foot concrete wall for about $2,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just use your own creativity to make your pig pen. If you're from the south, you know how to make pig pens. Over there, they use concrete for everything, and I don't believe that you have to use concrete for everything. But since I'm not a farmer and they are farmers, I'm just going with the flow. But I
Yeah.
know there's better ways, and cheaper ways to contain some pigs. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
know how to contain some pigs, you just need to make your barrier wall because the thing is, goats just anybody's goats can just walk across your lane, eat up your stuff. They're
Mm-hmm.
just there, right? So the
Goats
wall is
eat
important,
anything.
especially for security. But there's no one stealing your stuff. You don't have to worry about really. You really don't have to worry about that. They're not thieves over there like that. They're not like us. They're not
Mm-hmm.
looking to see what we got and they're looking to steal it. They're looking to see when you're selling so they can buy. So, you don't have to worry about, that for the most part. I mean, even though you have your thieves everywhere, but for the most part, that's not how they roll over there.
See,
So,
everybody, this is why I wanted Anthony to come on
right.
because you have a lot of people on YouTube and in the social media arena who they talk the talk, but this is a person who is walking the walk and can actually help you and can actually give you the game, actually give you information on what to do and how to go about setting yourself up, when you get ready to repatriate. And because
Right.
a lot of times, I've been in situations where I would be following somebody on YouTube and watching the video. And when I approach them or message them, it's like they either don't respond or, they kind of act like they don't want to talk to you or give you any type of information.
Right.
and it's
I
it's
can't stand that.
discouraging.
Hmm.
So when I first talked to you and I was asking you questions about your bar, I mean, you no hesitation, you just answered all my questions. I'm like, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about the process of setting up your shop and your
Okay.
bar, and how
Okay.
and why it's important to set things up like that for the community that you're in Africa, in
Oh,
Nigeria.
okay. So in the village, in the village that I adopted as my home, right? When I was there, I would see things that are lacking, right? Because everybody doesn't have refrigeration because the power there is not that consistent. So it's not cool to have a refrigerator that's just gonna mess your food up. So people buy their food daily, but this is actually a more healthier way to live because they buy their food fresh daily. They eat fresh. They don't know what portion size is, big, big, and bigger, and you eat all day long and everything's fresh, right? But so what I did was I said, oh, this area doesn't have this. So I noticed they didn't have a lot of my particular area. They didn't have any place I can go buy something to drink, right? Nothing, no convenience. So I said, well, let me go ahead and create that. So what I did was I could have very well spent my money and just put a shop on my land and did it myself and didn't include anybody else and just took their money. But that's not what I did. What I did was I found
Wait,
some.
wait, wait. They let you put a shop on your land?
I can do anything I want. I can put anything on my land I
So
want. That's
on your
mine
personal
on
land.
my
Like
personal land.
there's no zoning.
Ain't no. Okay, so for farming, they want you to farm in the rural or country areas because they don't, because of
Hmm.
byproduct, they don't want you to like you can't be in Lagos and just put a big farm in the middle of the city.
Right.
But in the countryside, there's no you don't have all these regulations. You literally just do it. You just
So
do it.
if you want to put like a little snow cone shop in your front yard, is
Yep.
no nothing against that. Wow.
Nothing. And
Okay.
there's no one coming to stop you from
Cool.
doing anything. They're gonna be like, hey, what you selling? As soon as you set it up, you'll have customers just like that. So I went to a local lady who owned a I guess it's a 40 by 40 container crate that she had set up as an old shop. It's just been sitting there. It's on the side of the road. I said, you know what? Let me rent from this lady. Let me rent this shop. Now let me tell you about rent. This is insane. People don't even believe it when I say it. Okay. So it cost me $150 to rent that shop for 1 year.
What?
Dramatic pause. There you go. $150. That's the rent for the
Cause
year.
I paid like it was like close to 900 for my I got a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment in Ocean State for like
Mm.
900 for the year, but
For
just
the year.
$150 for the shop
For the
for a
year, just for
year?
the shop. Right. So I was
Wow.
like, what? I couldn't believe it either. I was like, oh, really? I said, okay, let's take that. So I paid for the shop
Hmm.
and then I started to renovate it. So I put the same guys that built my house, the same guys because you stick with the same people because they loyal to you when you pay them right and you treat them good. So
Right.
I had them renovate the shop. We painted it. We put light fixtures and I fixed the whole shop up. So the shop was
Hmm.
all tear. I fixed it up, renovated it, and then once I did it, and I started loading it, my business partner made the connections with the associations because what happens if you start a shop and you're doing something like beverages, right? So I
Hmm.
sell alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Now,
So
one of your
you don't
questions.
have to have a license to sell alcohol.
Absolutely not. You don't have to have a license to sell alcohol. What you will do is you will join an association, which is like a union. So this
Hmm.
association is all the other people selling beverages and alcoholic beverages around the country. They have different groups, and you pay a fee. You join the group, and that's where you get your licensing. That's where you get your. They do everything for you. You got your legal representation. If the police come by and they want to check it out, they know that you're legitimate and everything. It's an association. I think the association fee was $50.
That's
It was something
it.
like that. And it's like it's so cheap. It's ridiculously cheap. That's why any normal person can go over there and do this
Hmm.
because it makes it so we can operate because we can afford to do these things that we can't do here. Because if a liquor license in America is like
Man.
$1 million now, and they're barely passing them out. But over there, I just basically got an equivalent to a liquor license for about a couple $100, and
Hmm.
I sell the same stuff that you buy in these liquor stores. So
So
what?
did you find your suppliers through the association? The people
No,
who
okay.
sell you the alcohol in bulk?
So yes, the suppliers. No, there are suppliers in the main town that my business partner already knew about because
Hmm.
this is their wheelhouse. They
And
sell
see,
most
y'all,
people.
this is why it's important to make connections with the people on the ground, the
Right.
continental Africans, because they can connect you with the people that you need to, be successful in your business.
Yes.
Okay, go
Most.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Most Nigerians are entrepreneurs and hustlers because they have no choice. All right. There's
Mhm.
not a bunch of jobs around, so they hustle. They know everything. So the best thing, like you say, is to have a Nigerian on the ground to do everything business wise for you on your behalf. It's almost better to hide yourself. Why? Because there's a different price for you versus
Right.
them. Because when they
Right.
see you, when they hear you speak, they know you got money. And they're going to
Mm-hmm.
charge you the tourist price. They're going to charge you the foreigner price. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to pay the local price, you let them do all the talking. You don't say nothing. You just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially me. I'm yellow. They think I'm an Igbo. They think I'm an Igbo or they think I'm from somewhere else. My whole life,
Right.
everybody always thought I was something else other than what I am. I'm used to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, I keep my mouth shut and I let my business partner do all the talking. Even though I'm in the background, I know what I want to do, and I'm sitting there. I know what I'm doing, but I don't speak. I let them speak. So I get
Mm-hmm.
all the local prices for everything. So my shop right now, I used to have to go and pick up the products and then bring it to my shop. Now the people deliver this products to my shop. So my business partner doesn't have to go anywhere. Now, when you join the association, they will hook you up with all the other networks that that are selling different products that you want to sell. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And they also suggested to me because right next to my shop, there was just an open piece of land, still owned by the same people I rented the shop from.
Mm-hmm.
And the association asked me, hey, you should build a bar. It was their suggestion, it wasn't even mine. They
Mm-hmm.
suggested these things. They also suggested that I sell alcohol because that was my original intent.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna sell sodas, snacks, chips for the kids, things like that. But they
Yeah.
were the ones like, hey, and keep in mind, these are my so-called competition in the area
Mm-hmm.
telling me, hey, you should sell this too. You should sell this. People come in the shop and they're like, hey, you should sell this. I'm like,
That's one thing I like about Nigerians on the ground. They are so accommodating and
yes.
friendly. Like they
Hmm.
tell us here, oh, they hate you in Africa. They don't accept you. But when I
Biggest
went
lie.
there, it was a completely different experience.
It's the biggest lie. And let me touch that on that real quick, and then I'll go back to my process.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that we don't take in consideration: that if you're a type of person who flies, if you fly around the world, you're not exactly the normal class, or you're not exactly the average person. You're upper middle class, meaning it's a class system. You got to remember, any African that has the money to fly all the way to the United States of America
Mm-hmm.
and establish themselves, they are not of the same ilk as the average American black person. They are upper class. It's a class system. So sometimes the class system and also what they've been taught by who,
Mm-hmm.
they come over here and they look down on us sometimes, not all of them, because they feel like we're a lower class. But they've done these same people do the same thing over there to their own
Right.
people. So it's
Right.
not a African American to African thing. It's just a class thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of Americans who go to other countries and we think just because we're American or African American that we're upper class and we look down on them like they're lesser than us, and that's a problem that we have because what's being represented is not the truth. So
Right.
the people that we meet over here, when we have a bad experience with them, we're like, oh, all them Africans, they're all like that. But when you go there
Mm-hmm.
and you realize they're not the same people at all, they're not the same people at
Right.
all. Go
It's
to
like when they
Africa,
come here, they develop a different mentality. You
yeah,
know,
they get stuck on this American Western, Western mean
the
Western's
Western
cold.
mindset. Yeah.
Right, right. But when you go there and you meet that Nigerian that wakes up in the morning and trying to find a way to make some money so they can
Mm-hmm.
feed their family, that day to day, that 9 to 5, they are the most humble, nice, accommodating people you will ever meet. You would love to know them, and they're gracious and they don't hate. There's no hate. They love us. Listen. They love her. They absolutely love us, and they want us to come there. But we have to be humble when we go there. We can't just try to railroad them because they're so nice. Because just like African Americans here, we're so nice. We let everybody take advantage of us. We're so nice, right? Where do you think
Mm-hmm.
we got it from? We got it from them. They're even nicer. Okay,
Right.
and that's the problem. So we can still be nice, but we have to be smarter, and
Right.
that's it.
You
And
have to
so,
be strategic.
sure, very strategic. So
Mhm.
back to the shop. So when customers will come in, they will say, "Hey, are you selling this?" And if I don't have it, I'm like, do you want me to sell it? And they say, yes. Guess what? I'm selling it. I
Mhm.
sell what the people want in the neighborhood. I'm not going to tell them what they want. They're going to tell me what they want, and I'll go get it and sell it to them. So
Mhm.
then I did notice that the Nigerian in the village, the old elders, they love to sit outside, enjoy themselves, just like our elders, like to sit on the porch and enjoy themselves. So I said, and they love to drink. The old men love to sit there and they drink their palm wine and they drink all their various drinks. And the men, that's what they do when they have a good time. They have a drink. So I wanted to make a place next to my shop where the older elders and the chiefs and stuff can come sit,
Mhm.
primarily for them to relax, smoke their cigarettes if that's what they want to do, sit and enjoy themselves on the inside, because everybody don't want to smell smoke, they don't want to see it, and everybody don't want to drink in front of everybody. So I made the little bar, and I did that for the elders, but anybody could use it. And also, I sell food. How? Because my business
Mhm.
partner was cooking food. Somebody smelt it and said, "Can I have some?" And they were
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, we're selling this." And before you know it, I'm selling catfish soup, pepper soup,
Mhm.
melon soup. So it's just I'm giving the community what they want. I just see something the community needs. I find out if I can afford to make it happen, and I
Mhm.
make it happen. I make money, but I keep my money in the community. I don't bring any of that money here. I have a bank account I've created. I went
Mhm.
to the Bank of Nigeria, the First Bank of Nigeria. All
Right.
you have to do, you take your passport, you take your ID, and you take you got to take passport pictures. You go in there and you create a bank account. They will
Mhm.
they will create that bank account. If you're an African American, you step in that bank, you're the star. They will put you in
So so you have to have your passport,
a passport,
your ID,
right?
like
Your
your driver's
ID,
license,
your driver's
and
license.
two passport pictures?
I think I got like about 8 pictures, because what they
Okay.
do is you create the account. It's just
Mhm.
like creating any bank account, and it's gonna come to your house. Like your statements will come to your house here in America, or you'll just do email and you'll get
Mhm.
the email statement just like any other bank.
'Cause see, I was told I have to have like a proof of residency and a
So
bill in my name and all this kind of this,
I,
that, and the third.
you don't have to do
Okay.
that. But
So
let's say
everybody know now,
you do
you
not
just said how to create a bank account
you
once you
yeah
get to Nigeria.
Yeah, you can go in that bank and create the bank account. Now let's see. Let's say even if you did have to, so let me give you the other part. Let's say you had to.
Mhm.
That's why it's important to make a connection with somebody there, because you could just use their address. They don't mind.
Mhm.
Use their address as a base address for Nigeria, but they're
Mhm.
gonna take your address that you live in America or wherever country you are from. That's the address that's gonna be on your account, and
Okay.
you can make it a joint account with a business partner. So let's say you have a business partner, y'all want to make a joint account so you can send money to get things done, because you're not going to be able to stay there. Your business partner is going to be there, right?
Mhm.
So you can make a bank account, but you can also make it so the money cannot be used unless you both are there. So let's say you want to keep putting money in your bank account, but you don't quite want money to be used and you're not there. Let's say you plan on going back 4 or 5 times and you want to be a part of the process physically. You could
Mhm.
just feed money into that account, and your business partner can do the same thing, and they'll be connected to it and use it, but only if you want them to use it, or only if you're there to allow access to that money. You can do that too. So there's
Uh-huh.
all sorts of fail safes that you can utilize to safely store your money in Nigeria. And
Yeah.
how do I send money to Nigeria is another important. How do you do it? Because that can be expensive. Wiring money can be expensive, right?
Right.
So I used to use Western Union, but
Yeah,
Western Union is expensive.
it is.
Then I started using Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal will wire. You can use Navy Federal. They will wire any amount of money, and it costs $25 per wire, no matter what the limit is. You'll go through a process where they'll ask the bank all the necessary bank information, and
Mhm.
then they'll send it on your behalf. That way, you always have receipts of your money moving. You
So
always want to make.
Navy Federal will wire money from your American account to your
Yes.
Nigerian account.
Yep, they will do that. So, but another way, I found an even better way. I found an even better way, because I'm always trying to find a better way to do something.
Right.
There's an app called SendWave. SendWave.
I have it.
You
I
heard of
have
that?
it.
You got
Yes.
SendWave?
Yes.
So I can literally, I have it set up to where I just send myself money to myself in my
Mhm.
Nigerian account. So from my Navy Federal account, I just send money through SendWave
Mhm.
to my First Bank of Nigeria, and I get my alert. I get the email alert that my
And it's
money had made it
instant.
there.
It's
Yes,
instant. And
and the
do
good,
they sometimes they give you credit, like percentage off,
yeah,
'cause
they'll
when
give
I
you
was
credit.
doing it and setting up, because when I was getting my stove and stuff for
Mhm,
my apartment, and I had to send money to the person I was working with there to get me set up, um, like I could do I could look up the currency transfer rate on Google, but
mhm,
then in SendWave it would be, it would be more. Like,
mhm.
I
Yeah,
would
well,
save a little bit.
because the way Sendwave does it, they don't charge you for sending it, but they charge the receiver for pulling it, right? They just a small
Ah.
little fee, and that's how it works. Also, Sendwave does not hold money; it transfers. So it doesn't. There's no three spots. So when you send your money from your account, point A, to
Mhm.
a point to point B, so they don't hold it. So if your money doesn't get there, if you feel like your money didn't get there in time, Sendwave will send you an email. They'll let you know the banks are moving slow because sometimes the banks process their update their processing a little slower
Mhm.
than America. The banks in Nigeria are a little bit further behind than American banks. They're probably equivalent to the way banks used to work probably back about 10 years ago. They're
Mhm.
not as advanced,
Yeah.
as we are now, but they're getting there. They're getting a lot better. So you never have to worry about losing your money. If you send your money Sendwave, it's gonna get there, and
Right.
so it's secure, and I can do it anytime. It gets there like that. If I send money Navy Federal, it may take 10 business days to get there. If I send it Sendways, it'll be there in 5 minutes. So let's say your business partner needs money right now. They're at the shop. They got to purchase
Mhm.
this. They hit you up. Hey, I need blah blah blah. You send it. It's there. Business done. So
Right.
that's perfect. It only works one way though. So it's only going that way.
Yeah.
So know that it's a one-way street with that
Yeah.
with Sendwave. But okay,
Wow.
so as far as the shop, I mean
Mhm.
the bar. So what I
Mhm.
did was they went to the lumber yard, the same. Like I say, you start building your core group of people who work with you, and they will do anything for you. So the same people that build my house, that build my wall, that build my everything that I do, they went and they got the wood like they would do anything else, and they just literally just built it, and I just watched it get built,
Mhm.
and the people around the neighborhood see the improvement. So now people around the neighborhood can just conveniently walk to the store. They can buy their drinks. They can buy the men can after work Friday Saturday can go get their drinks and go have a good time. They can go sit in the bar,
And
and if they
Nigerians
need
love to drink. They
right,
love to relax.
and if they need internet, I also sell that too. I sell charge cards so they can come and
So,
charge their phones.
okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so as far as like the bar and the
Mhm,
shop, um as far as like getting the supply
mhm,
and stuff, as far as like getting the food to sell and
mhm.
the sodas and the charge cards and stuff like that, is that an expensive process? Like, what is the pricing like as far as like getting your
Okay.
supply for your shops
Okay,
and your bar?
so the good thing is supplies, even though because of what's going on in Nigeria as far as the initiative to force Nigerians to produce their own food, they're kind
Mm-hmm.
of stomping down on exports, imports, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So yes, that does cause a reaction of things becoming more expensive, but it's necessary for the country to thrive. Period. It has
Right.
to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah, because they produce their own rice, but yet they don't eat their own. Locals don't eat their own rice, right? Because somebody's not processing the rice, and there's rocks in the rice. When they can buy Chinese rice, they don't got no
Mm-hmm.
rocks in the rice. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
but it's cheap. I like for instance my pigs. I got 15 pigs right now, and I got some on the way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost me more than probably $50 to feed all those pigs
Mm-hmm.
at the most.
Wow.
And we talking, and what I do is I plant food on one of my crops on one of my land to feed my
Mm-hmm.
own pigs. So I
Mm-hmm.
plant everything can be planted. So I plant cocoa yam. I got
Mm-hmm.
banana leaves growing, so I can just feed them that, and then I supplement that with other things outside. Like for instance, bananas. There's a lady that sells bananas at the market. I go to her every time to buy her bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been buying so many bananas. She now has been able to upgrade her business because now I'm giving her money instead
Right.
of I can easily go and buy some bananas from a industrial portion of place or something like that.
Yeah.
But the goal is for all of us to eat in the village. So I get everything. Everything's locally sourced.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I get is locally sourced. All the drinks I get is from the main town. So I buy from wholesalers
Oh.
within the village or within the state capital. everything,
Uh-huh.
and it's all easy. It's all cheap. It's very, very cheap. Like if you were running an ice, if anybody knows running an ice cream, like running an ice cream truck, it's kind of like
Yeah.
that. You know, but the thing is, like for a crate of, let's say a crate of soda, you know, or no, let's say a thing of water, right? We buy water for 2.75 for a case. You may get like 12 of them, and then you see people on the road selling them for like $1,
Right.
right? It's kind of like that, but instead, if it was in Nigeria, you be buying that same case for like 50, for like 50 cent, like
Wow.
50 cent, right? And
Wow.
then selling it, but then selling it for like not $1, but you'll be selling it for something a little cheaper. But it's
Yeah.
about It's about volume though here, because you got to remember, since things are cheaper, your
Hmm.
income will be cheaper. You got to take that in consideration. You're not making American money; you're making Nigerian money. But
So
it's
with your bar, you have food being cooked and you have
yep,
drinks,
yep,
and you have like you sell internet cards. Do
uh-huh,
you have like music and everything? Like,
yep.
do you have employees or is it just your business partner running the
Right,
bar right now?
right now it's just my business partner and the
Mm-hmm.
family, because like I said, I got the whole family. The whole family's in the business now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the family, they run the business. Eventually, when I start opening up other shops, I will start hiring people, because I plan on having multiple shops and hiring multiple people around the village, you know, as employees to do that, you know. But
So could you tell us what as far as like if you was to hire an employee now
mhm,
to work in your shop or work in your bar, what would be a monthly salary? Can
a
you
monthly
guess?
salary, yeah, I can
Mm-hmm.
kind of guesstimate. And I have hired people before. Okay, so for my pig farm, I did hire someone to come in, do the cleaning and feed the pigs and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
That person was getting paid $50 US dollars a week,
Mm-hmm.
right? I didn't set this. Keep in mind, I didn't set this price. This is what my business partner set this price. I just asked, like, so how much they're getting paid? Because I was curious. I'm still learning myself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what these people are supposed to be getting paid, right? So
Right.
like $50. I'm like, is that it? You know? So
Right.
like, if I wanted to have like if I wanted to have a maid, right, it will
Mm-hmm.
cost me $100 a month. If I wanted to have
Wow.
a door security, a doorman to open my
Open
gates
your
to my
gate.
compound,
Yeah.
it'll be about $100 a month. So
So
if
if
I
you
want
wanted to have a store clerk, would it be around the same?
about the same thing, about $100 a month. Now, me
Okay.
personally, even though that may be the going rate, I just don't feel right just paying
Yeah.
them 100. It just don't sound right to me, especially if I
Yeah.
know I can pay them a little bit more. Like, come on,
Yeah.
right? So I will pay a little bit more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way I really want to set things up when I get going is I want to utilize the co-op business model. All right, there's a co-op business model where the employees actually benefit from the business as like a shareholder, kind of speak. So when the
Mm-hmm.
profits come in, they get a portion of the profits instead of me just paying them what I want to pay them. If I do
Yeah.
that, I feel like I can scale the business up by incorporating more locals in the business,
Mm-hmm.
or even if I want to utilize somebody else's farm or farmland to grow whatever my crop, I want to be able to give them stake in the business so they can be a part of it, so we can grow as a community, as the business like grows as a community. I don't want to be like a
Mm-hmm.
Walmart where I show up at a village, I bring all this value and I bring all these things, people go crazy, they go buy it, but then I'm shutting down other people's businesses. I
Right.
really want to watch out for that, because at some point I do want to have a grocery store, but I
Mm-hmm.
do realize if I have a grocery store, that may affect the local market. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
include the local market on my grocery store. That means all my food needs to be sourced and purchased
Through
by
the
the
local
same people.
market.
Exactly. Sourced
Mm-hmm.
by the same people. If I provide refrigeration, it creates another industry, but it hurts another industry. So I want to make sure I
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. I want to be like that.
Right.
So, this is how I plan on doing it, is how I'm gonna do it, because I'm not greedy. I want to make money, but I want other people to make money, because for a village, for an area to thrive, the money needs to be rotate around that area at least 8 times. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem we have in our communities, because in our communities in America, we go to the Korean hair shop, we spend our money with the Korean lady, she takes her money, she sends it to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
We go into the liquor store, we buy alcohol there, and they're sending their money to Korea. We go to
Yeah.
the Chinese place, they're sending the money to China. We go to
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. So in my
We have
community,
liquid money where it just
right,
run right through our hands.
exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
come here. They don't invest
Right.
here, and they don't live here. They don't pay taxes here. So we don't benefit from any of that. So I make it a point. So when I go to the hair place, I go to the black owned one. If I want some,
I try to find them
yeah,
too.
If I
Mhm.
want some chicken and rice, I go to the Caribbean shop,
Mhm.
or I go to the Jamaican spot because they got the same food and it's better value, and I know that money rotates
Mhm.
because I know those people live in my community, and
So
that's how you do it.
you guys, if you want to see the process of Anthony building his shop or his bar, you could go to his YouTube page, Afro Think Tank, and he has some videos where you can look at the process and and see the work that they were doing on it. Now, the question I asked you, probably like the second time we talked,
Hmm.
and I was
Hmm.
kind of scared to ask you because I was
Uh
like, man, he gonna think I'm trying to get all up in his business.
huh.
But I ask you, what was how much money did it take to construct your bar? And I was so
Okay.
surprised when you told me. So can you share that with everyone else?
Okay. Okay. It cost me like the bar cost me. What was that price of that daggone bar? I think it less than $400. I think I spent on that bar. I
Mm-hmm.
spent less than $400 on that bar, literally, like less. That's all it cost me. I spent
Mm-hmm.
on the shop. It only cost me $1,500. That's how much it
Mm-hmm.
cost me to start a shop where I'm selling alcohol. I'm making money every day. I make money
Wow.
every day from that bar.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me $1,500. So imagine you getting equivalent of a bar and a liquor license for about $1,500.
That's
That's
amazing.
that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
In the bar is nothing but some wood on a foundation, some concrete. four hundred
Mm-hmm.
dollars. Now I got me a little establishment that'll bring more money because I have
Mm-hmm.
music. If you bring music, people come to dance and they
Right.
and they have a good time. And they guess what? They're gonna go to the shop and they're gonna get something to drink. People want to
Mm-hmm.
eat. They're gonna drink too. So I'm making more money. I also set it up so I'm providing charge stations so people can come charge their phone because I
Oh,
noticed over there everybody doesn't have power all the time. So
right.
because of that, I want to continue to bring value to the area so people will come. They come and they
Mm-hmm.
spend their money and they find value. So they can go to my bar, they can plug up their phones. That's what everybody does there. You stop somewhere, everybody's always charging their phones up because
Yep.
Nigerians are mobile. They are mobile people. And
Very, very
let me
mobile.
tell you, Nigerians have skipped, Africans have skipped the analog era. They're
Mm-hmm.
because when they were supposed to be in the analog area, their politicians did what they did and they never got the benefit from that. But
Mm-hmm.
they're already in the digital era. They're well beyond us. We don't have to do stuff. They don't do stuff like Cash App. They don't need
Right.
Cash App. They
Right.
literally can send money on their phones from one person to another, no matter what bank it is, instantly to buy anything. We still haven't even got there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The Nigerians in the village, they know how to use the internet. They know how to use the phone. They know all that. They may not have the stuff we got like in
Mm-hmm.
abundance, but they got it and they can fix it too. They're not throwing
Right.
phones away. They will fix that phone. They'll take the screen out, slap a new screen in
Right.
there, and make that thing work.
And they
Right?
move
They
constantly,
move right.
morning to night, and they love to relax.
Period.
They know the thing I like about Nigerians, they know how to live. They work
Yes.
and chill.
Yes.
They work from like 8 to 4, 8 to 5. Once they leave work at 5 or 4, they go to the bar or they go to some open air area or they meet a group of friends and they'll all sit at the table and buy drinks and talk
Right.
and laugh. And then, once all that's over, they go home to their families, eat dinner or
Right.
whatever. They know
Yes.
how to relax. It
Right.
ain't just like America where it's work, 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 money, money,
Right.
money, money.
Right.
It's
And
different.
another thing that I enjoy that I wish us black folks in America would get back to, which we used to have it, I say about in our grandparents' age, which we
Mhm.
don't even recognize, and this problem has caused friction between Africans and African Americans because we don't recognize it.
Mhm.
In the Western world, they teach us rugged individualism. Everybody do everything on your own. Don't trust
Right.
anybody. Pull yourself up from your own bootstraps. But over there it's about family and community. So they're
Mhm.
always everything is about what can we do together? What can I do for you?
Mhm.
So when you're in here and you meet an African who say, hey, they're offering you food, they're offering to buy you stuff. We automatically think, oh, what you trying to set us up? You
Mhm.
trying to get me on the hook for something? No,
Yeah.
they're being courteous because that's a part of being
That's
of a
the
community,
culture.
right? And they already trust you. They're trusting you until you give them a reason not to trust you.
Mhm.
And that is what people take advantage of over there. And that's what we're not recognizing. We find offense. We think they're trying to get one over on us or they're trying to scam us. But no, they're literally saying, hey, you know, let me give you this. And this is a token of my appreciation. And when I'm over there, if you give them something, and
Mhm.
if you give them something, when you go to somebody's house, you bring a little small something. It don't have to be anything spectacular, but you give them a little small something. It's a suggestion of goodwill. And when somebody visits you, they'll bring you something, and you give them something. Everybody's always
Mhm.
giving and giving and giving. You're so giving that whole, and I enjoyed it because I'm like, wow, you guys really, you guys really look at this as a group thing, you know,
Mhm.
and that's what we need because we are pack and humans are pack animals. All right, we're meant to
Mhm.
be in packs to work and operate as a unit. Like ants. That's how we're supposed to operate instead of one individual thinking you can do it all. We
Yeah.
can look. No matter how much money, how smart you think you are, you're not doing anything in Nigeria without having a group. You're
Oh
not.
no,
You're
you
just
have
not
to
going to do it.
have support system.
Right.
And then you have the system of respect as well, as far as
Yes.
like respecting your elders or chiefs and stuff like that. Like
Yes.
even in when I was studying the Yoruba language, it's a certain way that you say good morning to an elder. It's going to be different from how you say good morning to somebody your own age, and it's going to be
Right.
different if you're saying good morning to somebody younger than you. It's
Right.
that system
Right.
of respect. Because I
Yes.
was looking and I was at this person's house and I noticed it was some older Yoruba ladies sitting in the living room watching TV. And when the younger women would walk in the house, they would do this little bow where they courtesy the
Yeah.
older
The
ladies when they first walk
prostrating.
in, like, good afternoon, ma,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Oh man, I love that. I love that. Let me tell
yeah.
you, you will blow your. Let me tell you, if you go to Yoruba land, right? If you
Hmm.
go to Yoruba, if you go to Yoruba culture, and if they know you're an American, they know okay, there's an American visiting. The older people have a perception of us. Let's
Right.
not get it right. They do have a perception of us that they learned off watching American TV. Period.
Hmm.
So they already said, oh, they think we're kind of arrogant. They think we don't work hard. Everything that they told them. Okay, everything.
Hmm.
The youth, they know. They're cool
Right.
because they obviously you can tell. But the older people, so when I got there, I really studied the history because I wanted to know all the different symbols of respect. 'Cause I want to make sure that I respect the elders because in the military they teach you you're an ambassador. When you go to these different countries as a military personnel, you're an ambassador to your
Hmm.
country when you're dealing with foreign people. So
Hmm.
that doesn't change when I get out. I'm an ambassador to my tribe, which is the African American tribe. All right.
Right.
African Americans represent the unification of African tribes. That's who we are. We were
Right.
all fighting wars with each other until we got manipulated, brought over here, and we had to find a way to get ourselves together because we had a common enemy and a common
Hmm.
oppressor. So we are
Hmm.
the success story of that, way over here with no other help. So when we go over there, we have to represent the best part of us. So when I went over there, that prostration, let me tell you, I prostrate as soon as and I did the full prostration too.
Oh,
It's
you
like
got
doing
all the way on the floor.
all the way. Let me tell you something. Though as soon as you do it, those elders they lose their mind. They're like, what? They're slapping themselves. The men are losing their minds. The younger men your age are jealous because now they got to do the full prostration because you
Right.
showed them off. You done showed them off because they're doing the half. There's like a half prostrating where you take one hand, you touch the floor, and it's like, hey mom, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You're her dad. And then, but me, I got all the way down. For all the ones
Yeah.
that now the thing is, the person that's basically your partner that's sponsoring you that you got to know, they will tell
Hmm.
you who to prostrate to and who to not because there's some old ones that you don't
They don't.
prostrate to because
Yeah.
there are internal politics that you need to be aware about and you don't want to get involved in none of that. Okay, you
Right.
want to stay in your lane. But
Right.
they will take you to the chiefs. They're going to take you to every
You
elder.
gonna meet
You're going to
everybody.
meet the elder. When I got there,
Everybody.
when I got there, and I guess because I built the house so fast, and this is the part I didn't understand.
Hmm.
The king and the queen was like, hold up, who is this guy? I got summoned. I got summoned to the palace.
Really?
Yes, I swear. They want to know who is this guy. So me and my partner we went up in there, and I'm sitting here. I'm talking. It was just like I was like, man, this is like on TV. I'm
Now
looking
with
at
the
all the
king, you have to prostrate, and
oh
you can't
you
get up until he tells you
oh man. So the
to get
queen
up.
came out there, and she was the second wife. She came out. She looked like everybody's grandmama that don't go in the kitchen like that one. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, these black women in Nigeria will remind you of your family. Everybody, the
Hmm.
culture shock in Nigeria, in Africa, when you meet, is the culture shock is usually when you go to a country and the culture is so much different from yours that you're shocked at how things go. But in
Yeah.
Nigeria, the culture shock you would have as African American
Is the
is you will
similarities.
is the similarities, and you will
Hmm.
realize everything that you ever thought that was inherently African American in culture is not. It's all West African. And
Right.
my and I travel to Trinidad a lot, right?
Hmm.
And my one of my best friends, he told me I always thought the Caribbeans were the closest in character to Africans, right? And he said,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. He said, no, you African Americans are closer in character. You just don't realize it. When I
Right.
got there, I understood what he meant. I'm talking from the mannerisms of your mother, your grandma, all the sayings, everything, every single thing that you think that you makes you an African American is literally just African. All of
Yep.
it, everything.
Yep.
And it blew my mind. I was like, I mean, everything, everything. Okay,
Hmm.
so, but so the elders, that queen came out, I was scared instantly. And I'm sitting there, right? The king, he old. This man is like 90 some odd years old. And the
Uh-huh.
king, he used to live in America. You know, a lot of them, a lot of these well, these kings and these politicians, they used to live in America, but he was there full time. And I went. He asked me what I was doing. I told him what I was doing, and he gave me his blessing to do
Hmm.
everything. He gave me his blessing to work there, to do my business there. He recognized me and everything. Getting validation from a king. See, I don't
Right.
care about the British king, the British queen king. The only reason they got all that money is they stole it from us.
From us,
Okay, that's the thing.
yeah.
They stole it from us, right? So I want to revere my own king. I want to meet my kings, my
Hmm.
kings, right? So that was a great
Right.
honor to meet him. And him being up in age, I do look forward to meeting the next king whenever that happens. I'm sure that will happen too. But this king is hold on. He's 90 something. He ain't going nowhere because these people live forever. All right.
Yeah, the way they'll do that, from what I learned when I was in Oshobo,
Mm,
I think Oshobo has like five, think like five royal families.
mhm.
And I think it's the Oracle or somebody, I forgot who it is.
Yeah, you're right,
They'll
Oracle.
pick, yeah, the Oracle. They'll pick the next king from one of the five families. Like if one family takes a turn and the king get picked from that family, and then the
Mm,
next king they go from family to family. So
right.
whatever family is set up next to be king, that's the family that they
Yeah.
choose from.
Yeah, that's exactly how
Yeah.
it's set up. So that's why I didn't understand the prince thing.
Hmm.
Because I know there are different, I do know there are different sects of the Yoruba tribes. So maybe
Hmm.
there is a tribe that does hand out princehoods, but
Yeah.
last time I just never heard of that. And
Hmm.
because like you say, it's structured like that. I know they don't hand out, but they will. You can become a chief, which
Hmm.
is something that's been proposed to me. But the thing about that is, since Nigerians party, everything is a party, and you definitely got to pay for your own party. So if
Right.
I want to be a chief, that means I got to feed all the chiefs. That means I got to buy
Right.
like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cows. All right, and these
It's the
cows
same
like
with politics there. It's the same
yeah,
with politics when you like trying to run for some type of office.
mm,
It's You have to cater to your support people. You
you
have to
have to
feed them.
right.
Like if you have a meeting
Yep,
with a group of people, you gotta feed
right,
those people or bring some type of gift. You
right,
can't come empty handed saying
and
vote for me. You gotta come with something.
right. And for the audience,
Yeah.
a meeting is the barbecue. All right, a
Right.
meeting is the cookout. That's the
Right.
cookout. I'm telling
Right.
you, it is the cookout. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing that we do that's ours. I mean, it's ours. There's nothing original at all.
Mm-mm.
It's the cookout.
Hmm.
The old picture of and the black folks, and you got the cookout. You got the little kids running around in the front. You got all the middle, the young men and the elders sitting in the on the front, kind of just posted up. You got the
Hmm.
elder women usually in the house, and you got the old men in the back cooking up,
Yeah.
talking trash and drinking.
That's it.
That used to be the tradition of showing the village that this is a healthy family. That was
Hmm.
on purpose. That was to show the generations in the house. You got the women in the house protected. You got the men in the back cooking. You got the young men in the front holding guard, and you got the kids playing because they can do that.
Right.
That's an old African thing, and you see it over there, and it's literally the same thing over here. You're just wearing different clothes and
That's
playing
it.
different music. Playing slightly different music. Okay, nowadays, all right, slightly
Yeah.
different music. You know, so the respect of the elder is the most important. Like if you go there and you start disrespecting the locals, you don't. That's it. Because everybody knows everything, and if you do something, everybody's gonna find out.
Hmm.
Period. All
Hmm.
elders over there. Every group has the chiefs have a chief L age group. Then you got
Hmm.
the let's say mid 30s or 20s. You got an age group, and they have associations and groups where they get together and talk about what's going on. So,
Hmm.
for instance, in the Gambia, if you talk trash or if you say anything, somebody's gonna go back. If they're offended, they're gonna go back to their age group and they're gonna say, "Hey, did you see that?" And then that's how
Hmm.
everybody's gonna find out. And then once everybody finds out, you're tainted unless
Hmm.
you make up for it, which you can. You can always make up for it. But if you don't do it, then
You got to get do some begging though.
there you're gonna get on them hands and knees, or you're gonna do
Yeah.
some courtesy or something. You gotta apologize because
Right.
we're gonna touch on it. All right. So I what I recognize Art Kathy and what she was saying. When she said it
Hmm.
before she got real disrespectful, when she said, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know what she's saying.
Yeah, I was
But
like that too.
in that personality, I recognize that's an inherently strong African American personality that was utilized to fight the oppression in America. That's where that personality came from. But
Hmm.
you don't use that personality in house with your own folks.
Hmm.
Now, when she was saying that the people were like, she was almost saying they were dumb and they didn't know what they were doing. They were letting people take advantage, and I was like, okay, so we know that that's happening, but the
Hmm.
way she went about it, you were saying the reason is because they're stupid. No, they're not stupid. They don't know, just like
Right.
we don't know, just like we don't know. I mean, how
And
can you say
you got a lot of us who don't know.
right doing
Like,
the same thing? Like for her to say that, I'm like, hello, have you looked in any black neighborhood in America? Look at the stores. Are they owned by us? Don't Do we own like the nail shop? Do we own the liquor store? Our
right.
forefathers sold that off to them. So like I'm saying, we don't have no room to speak
I can go
like that. You
to
know?
Jackson, Mississippi right now with
Mm-hmm,
my cell phone, my camera.
mm-hmm,
I can go to Jackson, Mississippi, or I can go somewhere like Vicksburg or the Delta and just ride around different areas with my phone. And I guarantee you, the areas that I record on my phone in Jackson or the Delta or somewhere like that will
mm-hmm.
look just like the areas in
Exactly.
Gambia.
Exactly. When I was in Nigeria and I was on when I was on the
We
bus
got
and
straw wigs here too.
oh
You want to talk
right.
about women hair, and we have straw wigs over
We
here.
do the same thing, right? Like we talk about like oh they hair. Look at Florida. I mean they do some crazy things with their hair in Florida, right? So
Atlanta.
they put in Atlanta. They do everybody hair is a inherently black thing. I don't like when people talk about women's black because we have been as black people we've been doing crazy things to our hairs for thousands of years. It's just what we
Yep.
do, period, right? But it's like we don't have room to talk as if we have never ourselves gone through or going through the same things they're going through. The
Right.
reason why Europeans and Asians take advantage of Africans in general, meaning everywhere, is because we allow it because we are not financially and economically educated because the education system does not teach us. It's not our fault. We're just now coming into this age of information to where
Mhm.
we have access to all these things. I
It
mean,
wasn't
before,
created for us. I have
right,
a
it wasn't
friend.
created for us.
He's a school teacher, and he's the member of this association for Black male school teachers. And he was telling me he was on a video call with some more of the people in the group, and the guy who was officiating the meeting, he was like, well, he addressed my friend, and he was like, well, we can all agree that the education system here is in the United States is broken. And my friend was like, no, it's not broken. The education system here is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The education system was designed to educate young white males, and that's what it's doing.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
the only thing it was designed to work for.
Exactly. It wasn't meant for us. And the same curriculum, and they forget the oppressor that the enslaved our enslaver are
Hmm.
the same people that oppress them. So Nigeria is only 60 years old, and most brand new African countries are pretty much the same age.
Hmm.
And all their leaders are older than the country. They don't
Right.
know, they haven't had opportunity to have true democracy. All right. And we judge them, but look, it took America 275 years and multiple wars killing millions of people to get there,
Right.
right? So we have to give them a little bit of time to get themselves together, as well as they have the opportunity to take over their curriculum. And
Mhm.
what's happening now with the age of information, and we have the media, the youth are educating themselves. They
You
don't
might
need.
as
I
well
mean,
because
yeah,
the system is antiquated.
right. So now, before it was the radio, right? There was
Hmm.
the radio where they control the radio station. They can tell us, they can let us listen to what we want to hear. Then it was the TV, right?
Right.
You saw what happened when TV popped open. All of a sudden, war wasn't cool no more. So we went from World War One and Two being all patriotic about it to Vietnam, people being really mad about what was going on because they could see it
Yeah.
for the first time, right?
Right.
So now the youth, they're not just watching the History Channel where they tell us that all of everything that we ever built was either aliens or some rogue white tribe that went into Africa and did it and left.
Hmm.
They're trying to convince us that the Egyptians were white. Like, no, they weren't, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
mean, when they control the narrative, they could say that, and we just had no choice to believe it because, I mean, it's in the book, right? Right.
Right.
So, but now that
Let me tell you what my grandmother said as
mhm,
far as the books. one time she told my mother, she said, paper don't care what you put on it.
Yeah,
Whether
ain't
it's
that
a
the truth?
lie or truth, paper don't care what
Uh-huh.
you put on it.
Right. And they have spent a lot of time. They've spent a lot of time convincing us that we're stupid and we never did nothing.
Right.
Now, why would you do that? Because they know the truth. We've built everything. If you go to Africa and you see what's there, if you
Hmm.
see if you just see the structures and the history of Africa, you will realize how great we actually are and why they spend so much time and effort not reminding taking it from us. Because if we recognized it and we saw it, we would be
Hmm.
moving in a different light. Like
Right.
I wanna this is something that I want a lot of people to know about West Africa. If you look at the Benin Empire, right, and you look at
Hmm.
the Obo of Benin, and you look at all those beautiful artifacts that they stole, that they still have, and they display in their museums. If you look real close at the one of the Oba, right, one
Hmm.
of the you will notice the eye of horse
Hmm.
is on the Irish horse. So the West Africans are connected. The West Africans, religion wise, spiritually
Hmm.
wise, are connected to the Egyptian cultures, which
To the
is
Kemet.
yes. So
Yeah.
because that's another problem we have is they say, oh well, why are you connecting yourselves to Kemet? Kemet's way over there in North Africa. It hasn't got nothing to do with West Africa. It's the same. We're the same people.
Right.
People don't take in consideration the desertification and things like that. The Egyptian people simply just moved to their old homeland. They knew where they're from. They
Hmm.
created the Mali Empire. They created the Songhai Empire. They created all these empires. They just literally left. Why would you fight for a land that's no longer habitable? Let the Arabs have it. Let them
Hmm.
have it. I mean, they came over here and they took it. Then let them have it. I'm moving down to Uganda, Ethiopia. You reach. I'm
Where
moving
the
down
soil
further
is fertile, where the
where the
soil
soil
is
is
fertile and
fertile.
growing. Right.
So the culture is consistent all the way through. It's just that we've been inundated with this narrative that is not right. Africa is not a bunch of nations that were stagnant and did not communicate or talk to each other. It was we've been here for hundreds of thousands of years. We've been doing this
Hmm.
longer. If
Right.
you look at the structures in West Africa, the Europeans could not figure out. They did. It blew their mind that these people made that. They had
Hmm.
to destroy it. So
Hmm.
so for all my people, my people they like them in the Pan African movement. They like the Horus. You feel very comfortable as a West African utilizing that Horus, as a symbol for your Pan African movement. Because guess what? It's a West African thing too, and that's
Right.
why they stole it because they don't want you to see it. Okay, that's the whole point. They keep it so you don't know it.
Right. And they give us what they want us to have.
Right,
The
right,
stuff that don't work. you
right,
know.
right. So
And
we
that's why I thought it was so important to bring you on, because I feel like in light of the whole drama that's been going on with the whole repatriation movement in the
yes,
community on YouTube, I think that at this point in time, a lot of people are probably discouraged, you know,
yeah, yeah. I
because
would
it's
be
like
very discouraged.
we had high hopes, in these people and in this, project. So many people joined the Facebook groups, so many people signed up for this and took the webinars and stuff like that, only to find out that things weren't on the up and up. And it's like, okay, if I got to deal with bullshit, then I may as well just stay where I am. I may as
Right,
well just stay here in America, where at least I know what I'm dealing with, versus going to a country dealing with bullshit in a system with poor infrastructure.
right,
But
right,
I just want people to stay encouraged, continue on with your repatriation plans, but do it in the right way. Don't just think that you're going to get off the plane and automatically walk into a mansion and a business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
go first. Even if you
right,
have to go and do like a 2-week visit, go first. And for me, what I believe, when you first start your repatriation, the first thing you need to do is establish your own home, like your own place to stay.
right,
And then you need to be, planning and thinking about your own source of income. Like, what do you want to do?
right,
And once you got to take care of you first before you can link up and group up with other people. Once you are handled, once you
right,
got a roof over your head, once you got food on your table, and once you're in a position where you're taken care of, then you come together and you be like, okay, I want to get with these people right here, and we group up and we start, buying different properties and invested in stuff like that. But
exactly, exactly.
you have to take care of you have to take care of you first. And And even if you do want to do some type of investment before you go to Africa, which I don't suggest it, but if you
Yeah.
do, make sure that those people on the up and up, make sure that they're sending out at least like monthly reports of what was spent this month,
Right.
what was repaired, have pictures of the properties. Okay, we fixed that light fixture, we put a new door in right over here, stuff like that.
Right.
You have to they have to show you some type of accountability, but I feel like and I felt it, that spirit of discouragement. And
Hmm.
that's why I brought you on, because you're not just on YouTube talking the talk. You doing what everybody else, you done already walked through what everybody else trying to do. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, let me bring somebody, a real person on who can
Right.
tell
A
you some
real.
real
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
But okay, I wanted to get back. Okay, I guess the next question I want to ask you. Okay, say I'm a new repatriate and I'm sitting up and I'm watching this video and I'm encouraged. I'm ready to get my passport. I'm ready to go.
Hmm.
I'm ready to go to
Hmm.
Africa and start a pig farm or a bar, a shop,
Uh-huh.
or whatever. Okay, what is the first few steps? How should I start my process? Like, as far as like the funding the money that I need to have saved up, like what are some steps that I need to take?
Okay. So let's say, okay, this is for my people who are probably, let's say you making less than $100,000. Say you're middle class and you got a little bit of money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you can afford to go buy a Coach bag every now and then. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you one of those. Okay, I will put up for land
Mm-hmm.
if you want to like. I will put up $1,000. Just say I'm gonna spend $1,000 on land. I will
Mm-hmm.
put up honestly. I will put up two, three. I will put $2,000 or $3,000 away, and that right there would just be for land. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would actually, you know what? Let's say $5,000. Let me tell you why. $5,000 would do this. It will purchase your land and it will build your wall. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing you want to do when you buy land is build your wall. You want your borders because just like you buy land anywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to buy land next to it, and then
Right.
there's going to be disputes. You want to make sure your borders are completely defined.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to just put that aside. Put 5 G's away. You can definitely buy two, three, four plots of land and build a wall, or you can buy one plot and build a big 10-foot wall, or whatever combination how you want it, right? But you just
Mm-hmm.
want to establish land and wall
Mm-hmm.
easily. Is
Mm-hmm.
the filing fee and all that stuff? That's inconsequential. You're talking about $100 at the most,
Mm-hmm.
if paperwork and stuff like that. So just put that away. As far as obviously you want to get somebody that's going to take you to go see land. So once you
Right.
hook up with your, whoever your business partner is going to be, or whoever's going to ferry you around or whatnot,
Okay. That.
you
That.
okay.
Okay. That. What are some things to look for in a good business partner
Business
or a
partner.
good connect
Okay,
on the ground?
I'm gonna tell you how I did it. I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
exactly how I did it because
Okay.
I don't play, or I just don't play. But I had to establish trust.
Mm-hmm.
So my business partner didn't have a smartphone. All right,
Okay.
that can do cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. So I asked one of my Nigerian friends here, hey, how much does a smartphone cost over there? Right? He gives me the price. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I told my business partner, hey, go get a smartphone because I need to be able to see you. I need to be
Right.
able to press the button and see you right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Spot check. Okay. So I bought the phone. So I sent the money. I said, all right, this is the first time I'm sending someone money.
Right.
Right? But it was
Right.
a small amount. You got to spend money and you got to take a risk. If you don't want to take no risk, stay home. Okay.
Right.
You're going to have to take a risk. So I sent the money. They got the phone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right, phone. So now I can video you and stuff like that. And so I say, hey, tell me about. I asked them to tell me about your area. You know, tell me everything about you. So I want to know everything about this person, and I'll write
Mm-hmm.
it down. I'm like, oh, you went to this school? Okay, I wrote that down. Oh, where'd you used to work? Oh, you used to work here. What city? Everything about their location I wrote down. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and then I will go to my Nigerian friend and I'll say, hey, this is what they said. Can you verify this? They were like, oh yeah. You know what you're gonna hear? 99, 80, about 80% of the time, you're gonna say, oh, my cousin lives here. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my such and such used to go to the school. Oh, they live in
Right.
that village. So you'll have other people that can verify the people that you're talking to, trying to vet to see if they're a good business partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, Google Maps. I Google map the area. Oh, well, you said there's a bank. I say, what's next to that? Oh, you go to what church you go to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And so I'll go on Google Maps and I'll pull up the church. I'll say, okay, the church is there.
Oh, I
And
was
then
on Google Earth. When I
Yeah,
was
yeah. Google Earth. And then what I'll do, I'd say, oh, they say, oh, they're going to the market. I'm like, what's the name of the market, right?
Mhm,
And if I know they don't have a car and they're walking, right? Or I
mhm,
say, well, how long it takes to get to the market? They'll be like, oh, about 5 minutes or something, 10 minutes. Also,
mhm.
I'm like, okay. So that means that the market should be close to that, to where you say you are. So
Right.
Google Map, I'll open it up and I'll look for the market and I'll GPS it, see how far it is, to see if they're telling me the truth. Now
Mhm,
it may seem like it's like I'm paranoid, but you have to be,
mhm.
right? So I just made sure that the things that they told me on a daily basis, that they weren't lying to me for no reason.
Right.
That they're just telling me the truth. Everything was the truth. Then I'll say, let me
Mhm,
see you at the market. They'll show me the market. I'll make excuses. Oh, I want to see that. I want to experience it through your camera. So I'll see them doing everything they're doing,
mhm.
right? Or they say, oh, you at the lumber yard? Oh, send me pictures that you at the lumber yard buying this. Everything that I ever did what got validated.
Mhm,
Pictures, everything. I
mhm,
also made sure I got their identification. Like I was like, oh, you got my business partner didn't have a driver's license.
mhm.
I'm like, oh, so business partner can't drive. Okay, we're gonna have to change that. So I put my business partner in driving school and got my business partner a driver's license. Right.
Mhm,
So now that my business partner can drive, so now we're mobile. So we can. So I had to get a car. So I
mhm.
purchased a car. Got a Toyota Corolla, 2006 for
You
like.
got it there
Got it
in
there.
Nigeria? Okay.
Cause I could have bought it here and shipped it there. That's what a lot of people do.
Mhm,
But I didn't want to go through the hassle of all that. I'll just buy one there.
mhm.
So I when they go to the car lot to buy a car, I put the little Marco Polo on. Let me see, like I'm there. I'm there with you purchasing the car and
Right.
everything. And everybody's speaking English, right?
Marco Polo, everybody.
Marco Polo. I
Right.
want to hear you speak. So my business partner does everything in English, so I can understand it, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes things have to be done in Yoruba, and
Because there are
but for the
some
most part,
words that don't translate.
right.
Yeah.
But I just verified. I use my phone as myself. My
Mhm.
phone and my business partner's phone represented me. And the thing is, if you get a good business partner and they know that you're a good person, because you got to remember, there are Americans and and people from the UK who specifically go over there and take advantage of local people, right?
Right.
Who also go over there and scam. So
Right.
they're worried about you too. So just like you're worried about them, they're worried
They're
about
worried
you
about
too.
you.
So
Mhm.
once you establish that you're trustworthy, like when I spent that money for the phone,
Mhm.
now I'm thinking that's a small thing, but over there,
It's a big
that's a
deal.
big
It's a
deal.
big deal.
Right there, I established the trust. So the same
Right.
way as I'm investigating them, they're also investigating me, make sure I'm not a scammer,
And
and I'm
see,
not.
this is why, sorry, cut you
No,
off.
go ahead, go.
This is why it's so important to have respect for the people who are living there, who are from there, who are already on the ground, no matter how unintelligent you may think they are, no matter how slow or whatever you think they are, is why it's so important to have respect and to be willing to work with the people who are there, because at the end of the day, they're going to be able to help you more so than anybody else because they've lived there their whole life. And they
Right,
know that, like I said, they know the lay of the land, they know how things run, they know how things work.
right.
So to me, one of the key things in repatriating is to create relationships with the continental Africans who are already where you're going.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
you go
indeed.
ahead.
That's it. That's the name of the game right there.
Yeah,
Relationship and
right,
humbleness. Check
right,
your ego at the door. Okay,
right,
check it at the door. Save all that rah rah. Save that for the enemy, the people on the
right,
outside. Save that for them.
right.
When you come to Africa, you have to show a level of humbleness that we don't get afforded here in America.
Mm-hmm.
So but we have to. When you go there, everybody's grandma, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
mama, everybody.
Ma,
Everybody
ma,
is ma.
asa, ma,
Huh?
asa.
Masa. And then
Yeah.
we're blue. Let me tell you, everybody
Auntie.
when auntie, everybody's auntie, uncle, ma,
Mm-hmm.
that like all the little kids was calling me dad. Let me tell you,
Baba.
I'm like, Dad. Hold up. It got one. I'm not your. I mean, I like kids, but I'm not your dad, right? Right. But I didn't understand. But that's a level of respect. If they're calling you that, they
Mm-hmm.
respect you. And
Mm-hmm.
even as I was giving the elders the full respect that they deserve, and the chiefs the full respect they deserve, so
Right.
was the children giving me the full respect as an adult. I was getting
Mm-hmm.
curtsy, and they was bowing to me, and the kids want to fan you. They always want to fan you, right? For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
they want to. Everybody wants to fan you, but because they want to show that they're taking care of you. And you,
Right.
when you're being fanned, when somebody's doing something for you, you want to give them something small, small.
Because they take pity on
And
you. But
Yeah.
like I was at the King's Palace in Oshobo,
Mm-hmm.
and I was taking pictures beside the statue of the first king of the first Atoja
Mm-hmm.
of Oshobo. And when I was coming down, I tripped. I
Oh.
didn't fall, but I tripped. And
Okay.
and like everybody who was standing around was like, "Oh my God, sorry, sorry, sorry." They actually feel sorry for you because
Oh.
you're in a place where you don't know where you are or what
Right.
you're doing. So they actually take
Right.
pity on you
Right.
as
Right.
an American or a foreigner.
Right. They. Oh gosh. Everybody's willing to help you when they hear your voice and they know you're a Black American or
Hmm.
Oibo. You're gonna hear that a lot. Oibo. I'm like, what does
Yep.
that mean? Foreigner. And let me tell you, I've got, and this is something that everybody who's light skinned should know.
Mhm. Oh
They
boy.
somebody first they got this bleaching thing over there, right? They
Right.
are now we have it here too, but we're
Mhm.
so advanced in it. We we
We
we,
had
we we
ours.
act like we had our moment, but they're having their moment, just like in Jamaica, they're having their moment.
Hmm.
So the bleaching is so obvious over there because it doesn't look natural. All right,
Right.
and there's a smell to it. And the
Hmm.
people who talk about the people who bleach, they don't like. They're like, ugh, you can smell it. It smell like bleach, right?
Hmm.
And me as a light skinned person, I did recognize that there was a level of privilege I was getting for being light skinned, which I tried to reject, but there's just nothing I can do about it because
Right.
they admire your light skinnedness. They just do, right?
Right.
So that's just something I had to deal with. And on a few occasions, on two occasions, I was called white. And let me
Oh.
tell you, let me tell a preacher called me white. I almost forgot he was a preacher. I had to I had to hold myself, and I explained to him that is like the worst thing you can call me, right? Like you can't. That's the worst thing you can call me. Do
Mhm.
not, I'm black. I'm an African American. I'm black.
Black
I'm from here.
American.
My people from here, right?
Right.
And he apologized. And what I learned was he didn't mean white as in you're a European. That's a
Hmm.
term that they kind of use for also some kind of for foreigner, as he's an old man for
Hmm.
foreigner. Because we have to take in consideration these people are not all the people there, especially in the rural areas. They are not up to date on what's going on in the world as far as everywhere. All right, they don't know all the new terminologies. They don't understand everything, right?
Hmm.
Some people don't even know that there are a such thing called an African American. Some people don't even know anything about the transatlantic slave trade.
Nope.
They don't know any of that stuff because
Nope.
you think the British was going to teach them? Oh yeah, by the way, we took about half of your tribe. We took a whole bunch of your tribe members to this other place, and we beat the crap out of them and killed them and enslaved them and raped them. We did that, and we're doing that to you here. They're not
Right.
going to teach them that, right? So
Mm-mm.
they literally don't know because they never
They
had the
asked
opportunity to
me.
know.
I was out to dinner, and they at one of the people I was eating dinner with asked me, it's like, who is your family Orisha? Because each
Right.
family has an Orisha
I wish
that
you're right.
that governs that particular family, and
Mm.
many other families also have masquerades. When I went to the Oshun, when I went to the Grove to the
Hmm.
Oshun shrine, they
Mm.
had like different statues of the masquerades that represented different families in the city. But
Right.
they asked me like, "Who is your family's Orisha?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then he was like, "What does your mother know?" I said, "I would have to travel back in time, probably 300 or 400 years,
Right.
to find somebody who can even answer that
Answer
question."
that one. Right.
When I came back to America, I got a divination to see which Orisha was responsible for my Ori, my head.
Right.
And honestly, what I found out was it's not in I didn't have an actual Orisha. My Ori was owned by Egbe. And Egbe is
Mm.
like a collective of spirits that I came from before I was
Okay.
born into this particular life. So
Oh.
it's kind of like my
Okay. That's
homies got
cool.
my head.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. And I love
But
that. Yeah.
yeah, but it's deep. Like I took some Orisha Ifa classes when I came back. Like when I came back from Nigeria, I was like, okay, I
Hmm.
want to learn more. So I took some classes. Like I was learning how to throw the OB and everything,
Uh-huh.
and I was doing my prayers to the different Orishas and stuff. I learned a lot, and I was thinking about initiating, but I
Okay.
don't
All
think
right.
I'm ready for that yet.
Okay. Okay.
But that's one thing I liked about going to the motherland, especially Nigeria, which is my ancestral home, because it gave me. I felt like I belonged. I felt
Right.
like I had a home, like somewhere where I'm supposed to be.
right? It's a connection. It's the
Yeah.
type of you can't even explain it. It's like that's why I tell everybody, look, you can have your doubts about wanting to move. You can have your doubts about just go on one day. Just go there one time. That's all it takes. You go there
Right.
one time, and that thing we can't explain will happen to you. And be like, oh my god, there's a connection that I have with Africa that I can't disconnect from now. It's
Me
you
too.
that black. I've never felt blacker than when I was there. I found it's like I got
Right.
it's like the Matrix was just like they just took that thing off the back of my
Yeah,
head.
like when Neo, when they took the thing out and then
Yeah,
he got reintroduced to the population that was living on
yes,
the ground, what real, it was like, okay,
it's like
it was a disconnect from the Matrix.
right, a
That's
total
all.
disconnect. It's a total disconnect, and you feel like you get to be black without having to think
To
about being
code
black.
switch. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
don't have
I'm
to.
just me. I don't have to
Right,
change my accent or act a certain way, around certain people or in certain environments. I can just be me, you
right.
know.
And let me touch on another thing that does happen that I did not like, but are okay. So when you're traveling, sometimes you'll notice when you're traveling, you'll notice that the police will pull over, and
Mhm.
they would they paying bribes, right? That does happen.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
let me tell
Oh
you,
yeah,
as an
I ain't
American,
bribes.
I'm sitting there like I ain't paying no bribe. I ain't giving nothing. What? What you gonna do? As soon as you hear my voice, you know
Mhm.
I ain't giving you nothing. There's nothing you gonna do. And that's
Mhm.
true. If you're an American
Mhm.
and you're in a cab, a car, and they find out that you're an American, and
Mhm.
they're gonna stop what they're doing. If they're gonna stop the bribe once they find out because they're like, whoa, we don't want them to see this because they try to be real slick about it.
I
And there's
think
a real
after the SARS thing cleared
oh
up, I
yeah,
think that system of bribery. I think
that's
that's
that, and it's the most disgusting thing. It pissed me off so much, but I understood it because the police they're not getting paid properly. The money is not reaching them. So you got these young men or these old men sitting on
Mhm.
the side of the road with a helmet. They hot. They got AK-47. They ain't been paid in a month. They
Mhm.
mad. And poverty breeds criminality for people who
Right.
are weak and they want to take from others. And that's
Right.
what happens. So you got this community of drivers who all they do is they drive. They take people from back and forth. And since the police have a relationship with these people, they know
Mhm.
they can they basically taking bribes from the same people all day long,
Mhm.
right? And then sometimes it get out of hand because these people are they're not making that much money sometimes, and they're working hard, and they don't want to give their money up to the police every time. It's their money; they need it
Right.
for their families, right?
Right.
But I do believe that's got to end because the thing is they can't have international investment. They're not going to get a big repatriation from the diaspora if they have to deal with that. No one's going
Right.
to deal with that. Now,
Right.
on the other hand, in America, the corruption is so fantastic, it's so embedded in the system. From let's say from Lagos to Akiti, that's about a 4 hour drive. You may get
Mhm.
hit up about 3, 4 times on the way up.
Mhm.
The driver may have coughed up maybe like $10 at the most altogether,
Mhm.
right? That was the bribe. But
Mhm.
equivalent from Washington D.C. to New York, the same police system they set up these things called toll rolls. And by the time you get to New York, you done paid $100 some odd.
Right.
It's literally the
It's
same
the
thing.
same thing. You just
They just
one
more
is named
polite about it
legal.
and they take more money, right?
Right.
So the corruption in Nigeria is so immature. You should, if you're smart enough, you should be able to recognize it coming a mile away. It won't bother you. You can easily
Yeah.
just like, no, sorry, I'm not falling for that.
Now it's an
But
Instagram page called Travel to Niger. I don't know if you follow it.
oh yes, the lady, I
Yeah.
seen her videos. Yeah, yeah,
And
travel to Niger.
a few people sent her, like, they posted on her Facebook page and she shared it on Instagram where they were saying like they had to bribe people coming from the airport, like to get to their homes or whatever. They
Hmm.
had to bribe different, because you have these, little gang of boys set up in different areas throughout that,
Yeah,
stop, and you have to have like certain, give them something just to be able to pass.
pass through. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I guess they're doing that because of the civil unrest, because
Okay,
different
so
police stations and stuff being burned down and things, the
yeah,
things that happen.
so what's happening there? And I'm gonna equate it with what's happening here. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
The youth are tired of being taken advantage by
Mhm.
the elders who are out. Their ideas of how to rule are outdated, right?
Right.
And they utilize the police to quell. They utilize the police to be the middleman so that the people can hate the police and not the people that's really actually orchestrating this whole thing.
Mhm.
So, but at the same time, you have entities within Nigeria who would love nothing more to see Nigeria break up, or you have actual gangs, right, who
Right.
took advantage of the chaos so they can do their thing and make their money. Just
Who is
like
the Hebrew guy that tried to hijack the protest in Lagos? I got sent an audio on
Mm,
WhatsApp. He was
mm.
trying to. He had, he have, he, I guess, the what's they called they call it the Biafra War.
Beltron? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
it's a evil guy who tried to
Mm.
hijack the protest in Lagos where he was sending people in to actually riot and burn things down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Belfron is a group of people who
Hmm.
want to separate from Nigeria and have their own
Right.
country called Belfron. Like, because
Hmm.
we got to remember, Nigeria, as it's carved out, Africa is carved out for the Europeans, and the borders were made for the Europeans. All the roads were made so that the Europeans can export easily from within the country out to the ports into Europe. So
Hmm.
that's how the country was carved up. So you have various different tribes and people groups who are mashed together in a place called Nigeria.
Hmm.
So they were never unified as a group of people. I mean, these people have been fighting each other. They got different issues that
Right.
they in house that they've been dealing with on top of this, right?
Right.
So Belfront, there was a war. There was a huge war, civil war in Nigeria that I think we all should actually study. I've been watching videos on it.
Hmm.
Belfront, I believe, you know, I don't believe Nigeria is too late for that. Belfron as a country probably won't happen, but I believe they should get some sort of autonomy, some sort of state, some sort of extra autonomy or respect because they get treated like garbage over there. Straight
Hmm.
up, those people get treated like garbage. But there are a sect of people in the Belfron movement that will love nothing more than destroy Nigeria as they see it, so they can have their own country. So of course, when they see chaos like this, they would love to have another coup to where chaos will happen, the politicians will run and scatter, and then
Hmm.
that will give other groups an ability to try to take control. So that's all that is. But just like in America, we had the groups in Seattle, they tried to make their own little thing up there. They like made their own little city for like a couple weeks or whatever. I mean, we have the
Yeah.
same stuff here. We got we got these Europeans here that can't get over the fact that their time in power is over, and
Hmm.
that they're soon to be a minority, if not already a minority now, and they're
Hmm.
fighting for the culture that they know, and that's the
Right.
same thing that's happening here.
Right.
So and they would love nothing more than to break up what they see as the future of America, so they can have their version back, which is never happening, but that's what they're
Right.
trying to do. So that's all that is, and it's always going to be there. And we have to recognize that's going to be there until the youth take over it and start to galvanize themselves. Because the problem is that tribalistic problem is something that every group had, right?
Hmm.
But as the youth grow, like some of the Nigerian youth, they don't care too much for this tribe thing. They know what tribe they're from, but it's not so it's not so ingrained in their system. They're not like, oh, because I'm part of Yoruba, I can't do nothing with you because you're Igbo.
Hmm.
Like, but you're both literally the same group of people. Tribe only means group of people. It just means that you're over here and they're over there, but ethnically you're the same people. You just practice
Right.
different things. You're the same people. Just
Right.
like we are over here. The 80% of African Americans are Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa, right?
Right.
Period. 80%. We came
Right.
from there with also the Congo and Ghana and a few other admixtures, because they went deep in and they pulled out. Just like
Hmm.
a lot of people from Nigeria, they have history in other parts of Africa. It's a melting pot, right?
Hmm.
And one thing I hate hearing these African Americans over here. Those Africans, they sold us into slavery. I'm like, that's not what happened. What
Hmm.
happened is the Europeans went over there, took advantage of political strife between different groups, and because over there they didn't have jails, nobody had jails. What you would do is you would capture somebody because they were your enemy, and then you
Hmm.
would put them into something you would call slavery, and that was jail. And at some
Right.
point, you can work your way out of it. You can have kids. You weren't less than a human. You were still human. You just were bound by this person because that's just the way things work. That's the
Yeah.
way things work in the Native American community. That's the way things work in Asian community. That's the things work in the Europeans before they were, turned to whatever they are by the Romans. It kind of
Hmm.
happened that way. But before they broke up into tribes, that's just the way things work. So the Europeans came up with a strategy to, hey, I'm gonna give you guns, then I'm gonna give you guns. I'm gonna give you gunpowder. I'm gonna give you gunpowder. I'm not gonna show you how to make the gunpowder because you're gonna buy that gunpowder from me.
Right.
And if you want that gunpowder, hey, you should give me some of your wars, captives that you got over there. I'm gonna take you. The Yoruba were fighting the Dormai. All right, the group of Amazon warriors that we love today, that we saw in Black Panther.
Hmm.
That group that we love so much. Well, guess what?
Hmm.
They were doing slave raids into villages, and they were taking Yorubas and Igbos and other tribes, and they were giving them to the British so that they can get new weapons and so they can do such things like that. The Yoruba did, vice versa. The Igbos did it. Everybody did it, and
Right.
we didn't know that what this chattel slavery was. We thought they were doing the same thing that everybody was doing. It was the MO, right? It
Right.
was the mode of operation. We didn't know that they were going to take these people and send them off to a foreign land and treat them like garbage, trash, rape, and murder. We didn't know that,
Right.
right? So that's what really happened. It wasn't no Africans, let's get rid of these people, and it wasn't even like that. It's more complicated than that, and people
Mhm.
need to think. And if they knew their history, we would know that, and that's why we need our own curriculum. We need to learn our own history through our
Mhm.
own with our own scholars and our own PhDs, so that we can learn. Like we have people that's been teaching us for years, but the problem is they've been it was no internet. Like you got a guy. Let me tell you something. You got a guy named Shaka Utmost. All right, Shaka Utmost. All right,
Mhm.
Sonetta TV. These old cats been doing this for 30, 40 years. Antia Diop. I know I messed that name up. Antia Diop, or well, who are students of these scholars who've been trying to teach us. They've been teaching in hotel lobbies and on the streets this whole time. Like
Mhm.
they got the knowledge. Like I want everybody to look up Shaka Utmost. This dude is smart. Like you go ahead and make fun of how he look all you want,
What's
but he'll
the
school you.
Shaka?
Shaka at most. Sonetta TV. If you want to look at the old heads, because all us new YouTubers,
Can you spell that at
we
most?
Shaka at most,
Mhm.
like Shaka Zulu,
Uh-huh.
and utmost like I guess I would have to look at it because I don't have it
Oh,
in front of me
I'll
right now.
Google it. I'll Google it.
Yes, but all you Google Sonetta TV, like he's from the same vein as I know you heard of Polite. All right.
Right.
I know you heard everybody heard of Polite. Now, a lot of people don't like certain aspects of how Polite rolls, but the man
Mhm.
is super smart, and I love listening to him because when he debates these guys, he's debating with real knowledge. But Shaka at
Mhm.
most, that's my guy. Or there's another one. You got the Dagger Squad. They have debates. You have different sects of the African American or the African Pan African movement, and
Mhm.
they debate on like religion, is this valid, Muslim, Hebrew, Christian, and it's
Mhm.
good for us to have debate because we have to talk about this. What's ours? What's not ours? How does it affect us? And Sonetta TV is actually the platform that has all these different people. Whatever
Mhm.
you believe in, that they have all these people. You'll run into Shaka Utmost. This guy is super intelligent, and he's a historian. And
Mhm.
people like him should be the ones making these curriculums that we need to be studying as a group of people,
Right.
and I really
Emma and
encourage that.
Professor
Right.
Smalls.
And like what's his name? What's the guy? Everybody makes fun. Everybody kind of jumps on him. What's the the guy? He's really aggressive. What's the black guy from Philly? He won't open the school. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
Dr. Umar.
Yeah, Dr. Umar.
Yeah.
First of all, look, when Dr. Umar Johnson some years ago was talking, people
Yeah.
thought he was crazy, but he
Mhm.
ain't looking so crazy right now. He
He's
not looking
he
so crazy.
repatriated, right? Then
I, I'm,
he
I'm
recently repatriated.
Has he? I think he has. And the thing is, he's been
Yeah.
pushing. He's been pushing for his educational system, and all these African Americans who don't do nothing, who
Mhm.
don't plan on doing nothing. All they do is they judge people who trying to do something just because
Mhm.
they don't. That the person that's trying to do something doesn't quite fall within their vein or doesn't quite fall within their way of thinking. But Dr.
Mhm.
Umar Johnson got it right. It's about
Mhm.
education. We need to educate our people. That's why he wants to start the school, start the curriculum, so we can program our youth to
Mhm.
know our information so that they can use that in the future so we can prosper as a people economically.
Right.
That's what
Right.
Polite's always talking about. Polite's always talking about it ain't really about religion. It's about the economy, stupid. It's about
Mhm.
That's why he said it's his religion. Woman
Mhm.
is God, money is his religion. That's what I believe. Black
Uh-huh.
woman is God because the black woman created everything.
Mhm.
And economy, e-commerce is the religion that we can galvanize as a group of people. I don't care if you're a Hebrew Israelite, a Christian, a Muslim,
Now, do you
whatever.
listen to Dr. Claude Anderson as
That's how,
well?
oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
All of those. I listen to all the older people because they know
Mhm.
what they're talking about. They wrote the
Right.
books. They did all of it. It's just that they're not in style or cool to the younger generation. So it's up to us to take their knowledge and
Mhm.
pass it along the best we know how, or it's up to us to introduce them to these older people in these older videos that were created via VHS that got to
Mhm.
be digitally remastered so we can watch some of these great lectures that they be giving,
Mhm.
And but the thing is, a lot of our youth they don't have an attention span. As social media is getting further and further along, we do
Mhm.
5-minute videos. You see a video that's like 7 minutes, you're like, man, that might be kind of
Yeah.
long. So
but
when
that's
you
the
see,
average human attention span,
yeah,
like
attention
7 minutes.
span, right? But so you see a video that's like 2 hours long, you're like, I ain't watching that. That's like a movie, right? But if you sat there, you would learn so much. You would learn more in that 2 hours that you learn anything in your history class
With
in all
the
4 years
youth,
of going to school.
with the youth, I think we have to figure out how to capture their interest.
I actually have a
Yeah.
good idea. I think that we should utilize animation, cartoons. We need to create our media. Like for
Mhm.
instance, if you look at the Japanese animation, right?
Mhm.
Japanese animation is beautiful. They highlight their culture in many different ways, right?
Mhm.
And you get to see the history of their culture. Japanese people do it too. I mean, the Chinese people do it too with their movies. They highlight their cultures, and then they
Mhm.
make these movies and they show they got high production budgets, and they show them the best that their culture has to offer, right?
Mhm.
Look at the Europeans. They create fantasies because I guess they don't have their history don't go back too far. So,
Mhm.
but they take what they got and they make these movies. They make Games of Thrones. They make all these crazy shows that we love to watch, but
Right.
it's still teaching them a little bit about their history, even though they're using fantasy, right? Africans need to do the same thing. Like
Right.
that's why Black Panther was so popular because when we saw it, we saw those structures, those buildings, we saw that African, we saw that history. We just something happened, and we everybody showed up to the movie theater wearing African dashikis and stuff. Like we
But
crave for that, we thirst for it.
the movie was good, but it still to me like it was kind of like the ending where to me like Killmonger was I was more so root for him.
Yeah,
He had
yeah,
the wrong
yeah,
approach, but he had the right idea.
right,
But the ending, it was like at the end of the day, it's kind of like the struggle. It told the story of Black people worldwide. In the
right,
diaspora in Africa, you have the Black people on the continent. The Africans on the continent who get to enjoy the benefits of their culture and being still connected. And then you have the Black people in the diaspora who was disconnected and who
right,
kind of just out there, who were pretty much like a lot of us felt like we was abandoned. So when
right,
we returned we were angry and we was ready to pretty much, destroy the system that was there.
right,
But then at the end of the day, when the two factions, the Black people on the continent and then the Black people, the Black person, Killmonger from the diaspora, when they fought against one another,
hmm
they end up fighting against one another. But at the end of the day, the white man won because what did T'Challa do? He took the technology and took it
spread it
straight to
around the
the white
world,
man.
right,
Gave it straight to
right.
the white man. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right. So we still not controlling our narrative.
right.
We're still not controlling our narrative, and that's what we need to do. Like Tyler Perry, he quietly came up and made the biggest studio in America, right? So I
Right.
like how he's given a lot of these new black directors and producers to make black films, right?
Mhm.
And also I think Nollywood
Mhm.
eventually at some point will start to do the same thing. We need animation. We need like the Orochas.
Mhm.
Why don't we have animation of all the Orochas? We need to have they need to make stories of all that. We need to see cartoons, well produced, well funded cartoons on the Orishas,
Right.
on the Oba, on the Benin Empire, on the Dormier, on the Akan, on we need a new Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
I don't know who can do better than that. I mean, that movie was so great. I don't know who can step into those shoes and do it again.
But
And I think
I'm
it's
seeing more and more Orishas in what you call Afrofuturism. Because
yes,
I'm a big
yeah,
I read a lot of books. So I
okay,
have more and more
yeah.
of that in the books. But like you said, with the youth, they need something more visual.
Right. Something that'll pull them in. Something that'll get them questioning, oh, what that's cool. That's my culture. Because
Mhm.
black folks, we watch animation. We love Japanese. We are the
Right.
second we love it. But we could do this remember when Afro Samurai came out? Oh, it was
Mhm.
just what? Yeah, Samuel Jackson. Like that
Mhm.
was it. But we can do that. We have just as beautiful culture to do the same thing with West Africa, East Africa, South Africa. And we
Mhm.
have if you look at Japanese animation, right? You see the scarification that they try to portray on their people. We see the crazy hairstyles that they
Right.
portray on different tribes. We have all of that. We
Mhm.
have all we
They
everything the
got it from
Japanese
us.
they got it from us. And let me tell you something. The Japanese and the Komodo and their whole culture is eerily similar to the Yoruba,
Mhm.
eerily like all the way down to the dress, to the
Mhm.
hats. The whole culture is very similar, and there is actually
Respect.
there. very, and it's kind of like you just makes you wonder, like, what are they else in there not telling us? Like,
Hmm.
there is the Japanese have an affinity for Africans. There
Right.
was a time in history a few hundred years ago where when merchants, Portuguese merchants, were bringing Africans to Japan. We
Hmm.
talk about way back before slavery, way back. Portuguese
Yeah.
merchants were bringing Africans to Japan
Hmm.
as workers or just as part of their mission. The Japanese people were so enthralled with Africans, they would come from various parts of the country to meet and revere us as beautiful human beings. The
Wow.
Japanese people has always looked at us as beautiful human beings, and they
Hmm.
always had their own. They know their history that on their land, on their islands, that the original people were these smaller people that resemble us, that resemble the pygmies or the bush people. You know,
Hmm.
so they know that the Taiwanese people, the Thailand people, they also know that they have
Hmm.
kingdoms that they will tell you. You go on tour, hey, we didn't make these. These black people from over there came and made these. Like, the
Right.
history is there to be learned for anybody who want to learn it.
Right.
So, and if even some of the Yoruba words are the same words in Japan, in Japanese,
Hmm.
the words coalesce, the languages coalesce, and it even got the same tonal style vision where the words mean different things if said at different
And
octaves.
yeah. Yep. Yep.
Right. So it's just very amazing that the similarities are just it's just too much. There's too many similarities for there not to be a connection there.
Right.
So when I lived in Japan, because I used to live there, and I've
Okay.
been, in the military, I lived there because that's where I was stationed, and I did notice how much nicer and how the Japanese people were, the
Hmm.
people, not the politicians, not the though we talk about just regular people, were to us
Yeah.
compared to them, and it blew my mind, and I
Hmm.
had to do some study on it because it didn't make any sense. But
Hmm.
now I understand. The Japanese people just have a history. You know, so the Chinese people also have a history, but due to their history, they cut themselves off from the world for about a
Right.
thousand years, and they forgot. All right, they forgot. They
Oh, they
used to.
did an experiment with DNA some years back. I was watching the video on YouTube
Mm,
where they were like, we want to prove that Chinese people are from China. We originated here because China is
right,
unique and special. So
right.
they had this big focus group that they were taking
Yep.
DNA samples and cells from.
Hmm.
And when they finished, it came to the conclusion that they had African
Yeah.
DNA.
It
They
was that. Look,
from
they
African
keep
descent.
everybody who tries to disprove it. All they doing is turn around and proving it. They
Right.
just turn around and prove it. Like genetically, did you know that genetically, the people from Thailand and
Mhm.
Southern Asia are more genetically connected to Africans than they are to Chinese people.
Oh, wow.
That's why if you notice, if you look at some Japanese, you look at some Taiwanese, you look at some of them
They like my
in Asia.
color, or
Yeah,
darker.
and look at their nose, look at their facial features, look at their
Mhm.
structures. They're more towards us because that's how we migrated out.
Now,
So
see, in my DNA, when I did my DNA test, like I had a small portion of my DNA that was Oceania. You know,
ocean,
the people who live in the islands, like in the Pacific Ocean, close
yeah,
to Australia and Tanzania,
yeah, cause
yeah, and they had the kids, they had the dark skin and the blonde hair.
yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah,
like, who the hell from my family was all the way
yeah.
over there?
We are the pioneers of the world. We traveled the world. The
Even to America.
even to America. We've been here. Like, we've
Right,
been here.
right.
Now we do got lot of mixing up. We got a lot of Americans. Oh, we were here. The Native Americans are us. And no. Listen, the Europeans came over here and they killed the Native Americans. Okay, and they live on these prisons called these concentration camps called
Reservation.
reservations. Okay,
Mhm.
but there was the first migration of people did hit South America, and there was were the what you call the Negroid or the
Mhm.
Afro-Asiatic people from
Mhm.
the Pacific Islanders that did make it here. They hit Peru, and there's still people who still come from that group that did not come from through Russia through Alaska. There was a separate group of people. There
Right.
was Africans who went from West Africa
They
and,
sailed
and
on a
made it
boat
made
from West
they sailed
Africa
on a boat.
and they
Yeah,
traded. They brought gold that they traded with. They brought gold to the Native American tribes here, and in return, the Native
right.
American tribes allowed them to mine copper up and down the Mississippi River Valley.
Right. So there's history there. It's just that, certain group of people don't want other people to know about this, right? But
Right.
so we've been there. So of course, and then of course, Master Musa, that whole situation where his his, I guess it was his uncle. His
His
uncle went
uncle was
off with
supposed
about
to be the
1,000 ships.
Mansa, but he
Right.
left and never came back,
He
and then
never came
he
back.
became the Mansa.
Right,
Yeah.
which also correlates with the African group of people in South America. That was a tribe that was separate from the other tribes that were native there. Like the
Mm-hmm.
stories correlate, they were there. Now, so, but I don't like it when African Americans take away the history of the Native Americans because this is their land. We have been here, we have
Mm-hmm.
interacted with them throughout history, but we are two separate groups of people, and but we have been here. So the
But
history is not black and white; it's gray.
if you go back and look at pictures or like art or paintings of the original Native Americans
They're
before,
dark.
they like us. They look
They like us.
very similar to Africans.
Very similar to us, right? They do, and that's the thing. They've only been, this thing. Any place you go, like for instance, the Middle East. The reason why the people in the Middle East look that way is because that was a trading area of the world, where everybody met, where the
Mm-hmm.
Europeans and the Asians and the Africans met to do trade. When
Mm-hmm.
you trade people, you trade goods. People get married, people mix, and that's just why the Arabs look like they look. Just like the same thing happened in America.
Right.
It only took 400 years for America not to look like the Native Americans. It only took
Right.
400 years to replace.
Even with
Right.
us, like we are, we have African DNA, but some of our genetic markers are different,
A different,
you
right,
know, and that's
and
why
it's
we look slightly different
slightly
from,
different,
yeah,
right. But at the same time, if we repatriate back to Africa to the purity of to the trunk, we
right,
have children there. All we doing is just bringing it back. That's
right.
all, just bringing it back, and that's movement. Movement is human nature. We're gonna do that,
But
right?
my thing, I feel like, okay, like I feel like some of us will repatriate, and people keep saying that it's prophetic. It's been
Hmm.
prophesied that many of us will return back to Africa. And then
Hmm.
you have many of us who would choose to stay here and fight for our rights and stuff here.
Right.
But I believe that whether we stay here or we repatriate back to Africa, we need to build a bridge between Africa and the diaspora. And it goes back to where I was talking about we need those manufacturing stuff like that,
Yes.
where we
Yeah.
have our own industries on the motherland that can also support Africans in the diaspora. Like if we have
Right.
like a chicken processing plant or a plant that make pineapple juice or anything where we have
Right.
our own supply that we can, say you got a businessman, black businessman who live in Atlanta and he
Hmm.
want to stock some pineapple juice in his grocery store, he can call the manufacturing plant in Nigeria.
Right. And that's how you create.
Source.
Yeah, that's how you create power. You see, that's why the Korean and the Asians are able to do what they do because they have a connection back home. So they can utilize their foundation and they can come over here and they can make things happen.
Right.
And that's what we need. And a lot of people say, oh, well, how come the African Americans don't do this? And we see the other groups of people doing this. It's because we've been cut off from our source. So, like you said, we need to reconnect to our source. And the only way to reconnect is to shed some of our Western ways and ego and our pride and reconnect with our brothers and sisters on the continent so we can make that bridge so that we can create institutions that are so powerful we can challenge the institutions over here without worrying about the consequences because they made this American institution is an American institution.
Mm-hmm.
So we as black people, when we want to fight the system, we have to worry about being punished by that system when we try to
We're in
stand up.
somebody else's
Right.
system. We're in
Right. But if
somebody
we,
else's
yeah,
system.
right. If we create our own system, if we got money, that's why rich people can say what they want. Because if you got money in your bank account, you can say what you want. What you gonna do to me? I'm rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do to me? I make my money over here. What you
Like
gonna do to me? I hold my money over here.
I got cast in a Nollywood film series. It's like a Yoruba film series. And I was supposed to leave a couple weeks ago,
Mm.
but I missed my flight.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
the whole SARS thing happened. So they held off production until next month. But I used to tell my friends in the acting community here in Atlanta, if you go to Nigeria to the Nollywood industry and you start auditioning for stuff and they see you as a foreigner, as an American, because Africans love foreign
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like you could pretty much become a success overnight and have millions of fans
Oh
because
yeah.
Nigeria has a huge population. And that's what my friend told me, the guy who cast me in the series. He was like, Jackie, all you have to do is do like maybe 4 films and you a celebrity. You up there, you know. And
Yeah,
then
that's the truth.
like, and he was
Uh-huh.
like, you can use that celebrity to sell any other type of business or service that you're trying to do.
Right.
And I was trying to convince some of the people that I work on, I was working on set with, and they like, Nigeria, I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
then I found out
Mhm.
it's this white dude from Texas. I think he was born in Texas. He's in Lagos right now. He's a rapper. He's an
Uh-huh.
actor, and and he has like I think almost like 100,000 followers on Instagram or something like that. So I'm
Wow.
like,
Uh-huh.
he using the same
It's
system,
the same thing.
same game. I was trying to get to my friends.
Right. Like if these rappers, some of these rappers know they can't make it here in America because of the industry and how it works. Get on
Right,
the plane and go over there, man. They will love to have you over there so you can collaborate with their local artists and get together. You an engineer? Go over
right,
there and start engineering and create your own music company and just do it properly and don't take advantage of the people. I always say that. Do
right.
proper business practices. But you go over there, you can make a killing, and you don't got to worry about being stopped. They're gonna let you do what you want to do. They're gonna let you
Hmm.
make as much money as you want. You're gonna you can make big concerts. People gonna come out to see you because you're different. Just like
Right,
anytime in America we hear one Caribbean accent come over here and you put a beat and you hear a Caribbean accent, we all over that song, right?
right.
That's why Rihanna is so big because we hear that little accent like, oh, we love it, right? Just like
Mhm,
it's the same thing over there. Give them something different they can mix up their culture with. Like Wale, he come
mhm.
over here, he add a little bit of Yoruba spice. We
Right,
love him for it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it can work the other way around. I always tell people it's the same thing. If you if you from North Carolina, you from the South, you know how to cook. Go over
Mhm.
there and start making some of that soul food. Oh, what?
Man, you know what? Out when I go, I'm gonna make some sweet potato pie.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
And some banana, and since they have some in the bananas, make some
uh-huh.
banana
Yeah.
pudding.
Oh my goodness. You take some of that. They want that.
I got
Export
the
that.
seasonings in my suitcase.
Oh,
I got
oh
all the
my goodness.
spices in my suitcase.
Right. I mean, that's all you got to do. It's so easy. It's just that people just need to just stop, just disregard, take the education that they gave you, get rid of that, and just start educating
Because that's
yourself.
not education, that's indoctrination.
Right. Yeah, definitely, 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 definitely. You could do, like, I'm a normal person. I don't have any extra resources that any normal American who's doing all right don't have. I'm not special. I ain't go to no special school. I'm not
Mhm,
secretly rich. Okay, because some people they secretly rich, but they pretend like they're not. It's
mhm.
just to boost themselves. I don't have a book to sell you. I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have nothing to make you. Hey, if you want to donate to me, you can. But I don't have anything. I'm not pumping
No
nothing.
tours, no
No
tours,
tour.
no
Listen, you don't
t-shirts.
need. You don't need no tour. You just look. Holiday Inn, right? Hampton Inn, right? These big, huge hotel chains. Okay,
Mhm,
these humongous, huge hotel chains that you are familiar and comfortable with are
mhm.
also over there, and they are catering to people like you. You get on
Right.
Priceline, get on Orbitz, and you make your own vacation packages. All right, you go over there, and you can get suggested things to do. Okay,
Mhm,
all you do is you find out where you want to go, see if there's a Holiday Inn or something there, which there are plenty of hotels there. Book the
mhm,
hotel, book your flight. You can there's cabs there. You can take the cab. We'll take you to the hotel. There are
mhm.
things to do. The hotel lobby will say, hey, you can go here. There's pamphlets. Same cab driver that picked you up at the hotel will gladly stay with you and pick you up every single day you are there and take you anywhere you want to go and take you on any tour you want to go, including his house where his wife or his mama or his sister will feed you food 3 times a day and then tell you don't need to stay in the hotel. You can stay with them. Like
Right.
that's what would happen. You don't need to go on a tour unless you're that afraid that you want to be with other people because
Mhm.
some people just want to be with other people who
Yeah,
don't
'cause
know.
people kept telling me, "Oh, you need to go with a group. You need to go with a group." And I'm
Like,
like,
no, that's how you get taken advantage of because if you go to a group, guess what? Everybody sees that group. They say, "Oh, those are foreigners. You getting charged top dollar everything."
right,
Period. I'd rather go with one cab driver that's going to get out the car and go buy that thing for me because I don't want to get out the car because I don't want to pay full price. That's what I'd
right,
rather do. You don't need a group. Plus, you don't know them people anyway. And if you brave enough to go in a group, well, you still going with a bunch of people you don't know.
right.
You
Yeah,
still you still going to go meet somebody you never met. You may have saw them once on YouTube, but
and a
I
lot of
mean,
us,
you're right,
a
right.
lot
You're
of
doing this
ain't right. Like a lot of
right,
us
right,
Black Americans, we ain't too right.
and
And like,
right.
who was the girl? Tiffany Banner. She went to Tanzania and she met like she felt like she didn't need to go by herself and
Hmm.
repatriate alone. So she made friends with 3 or 4 other people online and they all got together and got an Airbnb and then
Boom.
she
That's
was
it.
met with a bunch of bullshit and then she
Mm.
ended up having to go on her own anyway. It
See?
was
Yep,
like,
yep. And that's the thing. You gotta have your way to go on your own. And here's the thing. They have Airbnb in Nigeria. They got Airbnb
mhm,
all over the place. They
right.
have, and if they have Airbnb where Americans actually own the Airbnb, so you
Mhm,
can go on Airbnb, you can find a place to stay. Really nice, actually. Really, they got some really nice Airbnbs in Nigeria. Find an
yeah.
American, call that person, and there's a connection. That Airbnb person could be your connection, right?
Mhm,
You can do that. You can. They got Uber. You got to
yeah.
do that.
They
You
do
can go
have
over there and use Uber. I mean,
mhm,
there you go. I mean, you don't need to go on a tour. It's not it's not necessary. You can do it. I myself don't do that. Now, if you go, you can go on excursions. All
mhm,
right. Now, when you get there, go on excursions. But what I find is tours are consistent of this. Is usually somebody who's just flying there and they're just saying, "Hey, meet me at the airport." And these cab drivers on my behalf are going to take you where I'm kind of going. And then you got
yeah.
to follow somebody around to these designated spots. And usually these designated spots are his homeboys, and he's just taking you where you can spend all your money. And then after
Mhm,
that, you going back to the hotel. If you want to
mhm,
have an authentic, real experience in the country, you want to go under the radar. You want to go with a few people. You want to have one person on the ground and know the place that's
yep.
from Nigeria that knows all the nooks and crannies. You will have
Right.
the best time, the most peaceful time. You'll have fun, and you
Mhm,
will not be in danger because they're not going to do that because they have just a big of incentive to
mhm,
make sure you have a great time as you want to have a great time and being safe
right.
because they want you to come back. They want you to come back. They want you to bring more of your friends. They
And
want to show. They want yeah.
invest.
Right. They want you to invest. So they're not going to treat. But at the same time, you do your due diligence because there's
Mhm.
bad people and scammers everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like, like
Yeah.
think about it. You go to Vegas, as soon as you step off the plane, they're ready to scam you as soon as you get there.
Man,
Timeshare this,
look,
timeshare this. I
cruise
mean,
ships are the biggest scam. They like a floating tourist trap.
right. That's why I won't go on a cruise. I will
I
fly
went on
directly to the
one.
country.
I went on
Right.
one in 2019. I'm like, this is not the business.
Yeah. I'm
I
not. I
wish
can't
I
do a
would have
cruise.
just did like a 7-day trip to Jamaica. Just got an Airbnb and stayed in Jamaica for 7 days.
Right, much better. Because cruises
Right.
to me, you go to this country, you got to leave at this time, you got to be back at this time. If you
Mhm.
don't, we're gonna leave you. There's so many rules. You're not
Mhm.
on vacation. You just window shopping.
Right.
You're just looking at through the window. That's it. You don't have time to really enjoy the country. So
Right.
tours, I'm not like let me just be clear. I'm not knocking anybody's tourist hustle. All right.
Right.
If you need to go on a tour, go on a tour, and if you're gonna go on a tour, support black businesses who are giving tours.
Right.
Okay. But
Right.
you don't need a tour. You can tour yourself through Orbitz or through Priceline or cheap tickets or any
And
of
you're
that. That's the
not
tour.
gonna make a whole lot of business connections and stuff doing a
Right.
tour either because you only everything's already designated.
Right.
You're
Right.
not
You're
gonna
gonna be in a
be
bubble. You're gonna
around
be
too
in a
much.
bubble.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what that is. I don't think anybody should be afraid of traveling to Africa. Just like you're not afraid to go to. Think about it. Black folks will go to Spain, Europe,
Paris.
France, places where where we know that the people literally don't like you.
Hmm.
Places where we know that their entire economy is built off the exploitation of us. You will go there and
Hmm.
enjoy the spoils of the rape of your people, because that's what you're doing, instead of
Hmm.
going to where your people are and and
Right.
and, and helping that economy grow.
Right. So to
So
kind of go back over what we discussed
okay.
earlier, we was talking about the importance of establishing manufacturing in
Yes,
Nigeria.
that
How
is the biggest. Listen, if anybody knows anything about manufacturing, processing any item, anything, you go over there. First of all, you'll become a millionaire,
Mhm.
and you'll be able to develop your processing plant way cheaper, and you'll be giving the people what they need.
That's what it's this guy, he's a billionaire in Nigeria. I think he might be like the richest man in Nigeria.
Dinkote, I
Yeah,
think
he said
Dinkote. Yeah,
that the new crop of millionaires and billionaires are gonna come from those working in agriculture,
agriculture. Yes, yes,
growing food and stuff like that.
that's where the money is.
Because it's kind of like other nations come in and they take the natural resources from the land, they
Hmm.
take it back to their country, they process it, and then they sell it back to you. That's just say like
Right.
my house right here. I'm in Powder Springs, Georgia. Say my house
Okay.
is sitting, I got a pineapple tree grove in my backyard.
Right.
And my neighbor comes across the street and say, "Hey Jackie, I want to buy some of your pineapples." And I say, "Okay, you're like, I pay you $50. Let me just get all the pineapples I want."
Right.
So he get all my pineapples, take it back over to his yard, and he processes it and makes it into pineapple juice. And then he
Right.
said, "Well, I got this pineapple juice I made from your pineapples. If you want some, you have to buy them from me, $10 a bottle."
Right.
And so he took
Exactly.
my
That's
resources,
crazy.
processed it, and now you're trying to sell it back to me at like a way higher
Price,
price.
right.
You
And
know?
that is what's keeping Nigeria down. That's why the government has kind of put in austerity measures to
Mhm.
force the people to grow. They're like, look, we gotta cut this exporting, importing stuff out. We can't why are we doing this? Right? We
Mhm.
don't need it. Nigeria does not need to
And
export
it's so
anything.
cheaper. Like if you can establish manufacturing right there on when the manufacturing is in the
Mhm.
same place where the natural resources are, whether it's
Right,
food, whether it's like technology, computer chips and stuff like that,
right.
anything that the land offers, and you have the manufacturing right there, it's going to be way cheaper
Way
because
cheaper.
everything is in one spot.
Right. And there's no lack for workers. You go over there, you
Right.
got the money to build. There are thousands. Let me tell you, they will be knocking down your door to work.
Right.
They even if you got like even if you were to get, let's say, processing Gara, right? Gara, which is the what is it? It's like a yam, a cassava.
Mhm.
I was like, so they eat a lot of gara over there, right? Powdered, basically powdered cassava, making their own flour, right?
Yeah.
But they don't actually make it. Like they sell the raw material. An
Yeah.
Indian company comes in, manufactures it, and sells it back to them. We could do it ourselves. You can YouTube how to process, even if you don't know how to do it, how to process gara,
Yeah.
how to make yam flour. Okay, that's how you do it. Go over
Mhm.
there, do it. Go over there, hire a bunch of people to do it. How
Mhm.
to package. Okay, let me find a place that packages. Package it yourself, slap your company name on it, and put it in the market. It'll sell.
Get you some
Just
quality
like that.
control and you good. you
Right.
know?
So I'm talking anything. I'm talking literally, it's so much opportunity in Nigeria. It's hard to even pick one. It's hard to pick
And
anything.
that's what surprises me the most, that most when I'm in the groups and stuff, within the repatriation community, like hardly nobody says anything about repatriating back to Nigeria. It's like Nigeria is like this big bad
Yo,
country that
yeah,
everybody's
you know
afraid
what it is?
to go to.
It's a double-edged sword. Let me tell you, because everybody's in Ghana. They've been doing this in Ghana since the 70s.
Mhm.
We have over 250,000 Americans in Ghana right now. Ghana is a well-established place for African Americans to go. Gambia just jumped on the map like that. Nobody was really talking about Gambia.
Mhm.
Gambia has just jumped on the map. It's always been a tourist destination. But the problem with Gambia is too small. It's
Right.
too small for all. We all can't just pack up in Gambia, right? And go to
Mhm.
Gambia. There's not enough real estate, not enough spots to go and do things with. Also, they have a better traveling system because they have a visa on arrival. Nigeria, because of their leaders, because of they're slow to do things that they should have already done, you got to
Hassle.
go get a visa, and that process by itself
It's a house.
can deter people who want to go to Nigeria. It's like, I'm not paying for them. I don't want to pay extra $300. I already got a passport. What I need a visa for? Which is, it's just a hassle. So
Right.
because it's a hassle, that's why people don't go. But it makes it for the people who really want to invest, the people who got the money and ability to do it.
Mhm.
It's open house. It's the wild wild west for anybody who's willing to go through the necessary stress to get there because it's not flooded. Because I'm gonna tell you this, land right now is $1,000 a plot right
Mhm.
now.
Right.
But as I saw when I was in Abuja, I
Mhm.
saw modernization creeping closer and closer, ever so slowly to the rest of the continent. It's coming, and by the
Mhm.
time some of these people wait, it's gonna be too late.
Too
Your
late.
prices you're gonna be paying is gonna be the same prices you pay for land in West Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina. I remember when I was just 21,
Mhm.
you can go to North Carolina. You can rent an apartment for $400 a month. You
Mhm.
go ahead and try to do that now in North Carolina. That's a joke. They laugh at you, right? So just like anything, real estate is going up.
Mhm.
So it behooves anybody. The first thing you do right now, go on a vacation, an
Mhm.
exploratory vacation, look for land, buy land. Even if you're gonna sit on it for a couple years, buy
Mhm.
land, build your wall, and then think about what you're gonna do. At least you have
Right.
it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we black folks, we spend our money on everybody else but ourselves. Why not spend
This
money
how
on
they,
yourself?
if you wait long, you wait wrong.
You wait. You got about five. Listen,
5 years probably.
Dangote is building a oil refinery in
Hmm.
Nigeria. When this oil refinery gets up, and they will be able to manufacture and produce various plastic products and oil-based products,
Hmm.
Nigeria is going to explode. Nigeria will be a superpower. It will
Right.
be a world superpower. And what they're going to do, they're going to modernize. The military is going to get bigger. It's going to get more professional.
Hmm.
Infrastructure is going to come, and then all of a sudden, that land that you bought for 1,000 is going to cost a hundred
50,000,
thousand US dollars,
100,000.
50,000. Like, and it's coming quick. We don't have time to wait if you're
Right.
moving to Nigeria. You got 10 good years, and it's over for you, right?
Right.
And that goes for a lot of other countries in Africa,
Because by the time
Ethiopia.
it get better, it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't, the early bird gets the worm. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the early bird's got to get the worm here, and but it's also harder to get
Mm-hmm.
that worm because we early. Now later on, it's going to be a lot more easier to go to Nigeria. I'm sure eventually when they
Mm-hmm.
see that money coming in, oh, they're going to get rid of that visa thing. It's going to be visa on arrival, guaranteed. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee it. They already got visa on arrival for other countries in Africa now because you got the ECOWAS, which is going to be the biggest financial bloc in the world, which is coming. That's the unification of West Africa economically. Is coming. And once
Mm-hmm.
they get that together, you'll be able to travel anywhere around West Africa you want, and you'll be able to spend the same currency around that continent. So you want to get there before that happens because it's happening, right? Despite
Uh-huh.
all the things that you see on TV, and because it's happening, that's why you see the powers that be and the forces that don't want to see that happen do everything they can to try to stop Nigeria from rising. They absolutely, positively do not want Nigeria to rise because they know that's
Right.
the end. That's it. That's it for
Right.
the Western world once that happens.
Right.
So that's it with that.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, it has been a very, very informative and educational interview
Yes.
with you today. I am so glad I got you on because I'm like, okay, with everything going on, this is the man to
Yeah.
talk to.
Yes.
You want to who was that? Somebody, it was a saying somebody told me one time. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy person because
Yep.
they
You
were
ain't gonna do
always working.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
you've been working. So when
Yes, I am.
you're going back to Nigeria soon, right?
Yes, I'm going back very soon. And then when I get there, I also want to show a different business opportunity that I think people should get involved with. It's a cash crop, and we all love it, and we all use it. It's called castor oil. I
Okay.
recently just planted castor oil in one of my sites. I'm going to
Hmm.
show y'all. I'm going to talk about it because we use castor oil for everything. Why
Yes.
not come over here, buy some land, build a wall, plant a bunch of It cost me $100 to plant my 2 plots full of castor oil, a
Hmm.
perennial plant because it's Nigeria, tropical area. That means that plant will grow every year. They got more. They got more. What do you call when you harvest seasons? See, in America, we got one harvest season. Over there, you can harvest like 4 times a year. So
Right.
imagine that. 4 times a year, I got castor oil. It's gonna grow. I don't have to plant it, but one time cost me 150 bucks. I can export that to America and get it and process it here, or I can make my
Use
own
it
oil,
for
which I'm
our
gonna do.
skin, our hair, different things like
Yes,
black castor oil. When I do
yes,
my clients' hair and they hair thin and on the edges and
mm,
stuff, I put
yes.
the castor
So I'm
oil on.
gonna I'm gonna make my
Yeah.
castor oil and I'm gonna package. I'm gonna process it. I'm gonna package it. And I'm gonna sell it to the local people. And I'm also going to try to import it to
Mhm.
America somehow. I'm gonna figure out once I figure out how much all that costs.
The
But that's
logistics.
what I'm gonna do. Yes, and
So,
then when I
will you be sharing this process on your YouTube
yes,
page?
yes,
Okay.
I'm going
Not
to
you,
share.
yeah,
Listen,
YouTube. Okay.
unlike some of these other YouTubers, they don't show anything. They don't show how
Mhm.
to do it. They just give you a bunch of platitudes. Yes,
Even
yeah,
when you
things are
can't.
great. Yeah, I'm doing this. Like, show me
Right.
how you did it, so I can do it. Look, there's
Right.
so much money in Nigeria. I don't view any African American. You can come to the state I pick. You can build your farm right next to me and do exactly the same thing. I'm not even mad. There's so much
Because it's enough for
we all
everybody.
can do it. It's not for everybody. I don't need to be greedy.
Right.
I want people to know how to do it so they can go do it. That's
Right.
it.
Right. Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your process with the new castor
Yes.
oil business model.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
again, this is Anthony Carter. His YouTube channel is Afro Think Tank.
Afro Think Tank.
So go and subscribe to my channel as well, Life According to Jackie. And I hope that those of you who watch and those of you who watch the replay, I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you at least got enough information to have it in your mind how you want to start and how you want to go about your repatriation. But anyway, Anthony, thank you so much for coming and talking to me. I know you're a busy man. You get ready to
Yeah.
go back to the motherland.
Yep.
I'm leaving soon as well. I'm probably within the next few weeks. I'll be
Okay.
going
Okay.
back over there, and hopefully, maybe because I'll be in Oshobo, so I could probably skip over to Ikiti and visit your shop and your bar.
Okay.
You
We
can
just
get me
just
a
hit me up. You know.
tour. Okay,
Yep.
okay,
And you can also find me on my Facebook group, Real African History and Perspective. That's where
hmm
we talk about African history. Anybody who knows anything about African history or they want to teach, that's our
hmm
platform where we teach there.
okay, okay. And
All right.
I grabbed the link to that and put it in the description of this video after it's over. But anyway,
Okay.
thanks to everybody who tuned in, and thanks to everybody who's watching the replay. Y'all, please subscribe, like, comment, and also go and, like I said again, subscribe to his page, Afro Think Tank. And
All
thank you
right.
so much, Anthony. You
Thank you
have
so much for having me.
and everybody,
Thank.
y'all have a blessed one.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.